we go, stream is live. Somebody's gonna post a link. Or I'll probably post it myself. Oh, no, make sure I don't double. Okay, time should be up soon. In 3 seconds. Okay, time is up. Time to refresh the page, download all the solutions.
I was not successful in finding my mic, so I'm gonna have to figure out why I'm so quiet.
Apparently it's my issue because my Discord likes to just turn itself way down on the volume mixer sometimes. But yeah, I can hear you clearly now.
Okay, cool. I don't have to find my good mic. I know that I was listening to the Rule 110 Space Chem video and thinking, oh man, my voice sounds so much better. I need to find that microphone again, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I noticed as well. So, let me actually load in the solutions I just downloaded. Wait, I didn't download them. There are much less showcases this week. Oh wow, there's a lot of solutions coming in, like, since yesterday. Also, hi everyone!
Hello!
Hi.
Brookie was gonna join us, but I don't know where he is right now. Just drank some water, remember to hydrate. Yeah, so we'll be starting with cycles in a bit, but like, I'm gonna introduce the puzzle first. So, this... Oh, hi Brookie!
Hello.
We now have 3 generations of tournament hosts in this commentary call right now.
True. And it could be a 4th generation.
Yeah, so
That's
basically we pretty much... If Panic becomes next year's host, we have 4 generations of tournament hosts here now. 3 of them have a name that starts with a B. And one of them basically has a name that's an unvoiced B. So, yeah.
Okay, they're both plosives.
Yeah, so I'm gonna introduce the puzzle first. So this week's puzzle is radio receivers, which you're able to see on the screen right now. And the metric of this puzzle was cycles and track plus instructions, not exactly trackless instructions. But yeah. So this puzzle was mostly designed around track plus instructions. And the intention was to limit players to only using one reagent, but having to send the parts of the reagent to several different purposes in the outputs, usually involving both purification and projection, which makes things pretty complicated for TI. But yeah.
Right. If there's something I'd like to just quickly point out, we have the Opus Magnum leaderboard bot to actually track trackless instructions metric, but I will have to point out that tracks plus instructions is actually kind of quite different from trackless instructions, because using arms on triangle tracks and loops actually ends up being really, really interesting.
Yeah, sometimes, but it hasn't really come up in this tournament yet, currently. And I don't think...
Horn Silver in the weeklies, though, did have a track loop in one of the second place solve I made.
Yeah, Horn Silver. It mostly came up in Horn Silver. I don't think it's going to come up in this week as well, but yeah, that's a thing that could happen. But yeah, we won't be starting with PI though, we'll be starting with cycles. Because I want to keep PI for the second metric because that's a bit more exciting.
Cycles on this one has a secondary of area, which for people who really want to prioritize getting min cycles and then optimizing from there, it's probably going to come down to area secondaries for the top pretty substantial number. I'm not sure how many I would guess, but I imagine a lot of people got min, and area will matter.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we'll be starting with 34th place. That's Glass Lady at 116 cycles. At least I think this is cycles. There's quite a bit of blur between cycles and TI. Like the low end of cycles and TI. Or is it the high end?
I think the fact that it has track probably means it's designed as cycles.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've received what I think is a cycle solve that only has 2-track.
So she is performing purification to get all the way up to copper, but projection to get to iron. So one of the things to note about when you have both purification and projection available, if you want to be optimal in using inputs, you will never purify an atom that you have created through projection or that you've created its equivalent through projection. So basically, the fact that this solve is creating iron atoms on the projection glyph at the left means that anytime you purify an iron into a copper, you are being wasteful, because there's potentially 2 quicksilvers being used to make those iron, when 1 quicksilver could have been used to make the copper if you had gone purification first.
Yeah, basically
It's a convoluted inefficiency, but it is an inefficiency.
It's based upon the fact that quicksilver can be used to promote several, like any metal. Therefore, we can have different values.
Yeah, the value of a quicksilver in this one is only really possible to be equal to tin or equal to iron, because there's never a reason to make metals above copper. But when you're using most of your quicksilver at tin value, and then you purify iron, that's the inefficiency.
It's very hard to see if you're not familiar with purification, though.
Yeah, and in a lot of cases, it's not the primary inefficiency. Like, in this solution, you can see that there's a lot of portions of the solution where the input is pulled at max speed, but then there are some cycles and 3 cycles breaks.
Yeah, Glass Lady talked about this in my DMs. So she basically mentioned that this is probably her first attempt at actually going hard on cycles.
Yeah, and it's quite a good first attempt, given that, like, for a lot of newer and less experienced players, getting that many atoms onto the board all in a row starts to be a nightmare of logistics. Where does this one go? Where does this one go?
Uh-huh.
So this
I
is a great
basically
effort.
asked her if she was going to make a full input speed solution. It's almost there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, navigating all of the collisions is always a problem.
Oh yeah, especially in Cycle's area, which will be, we'll be seeing some very compact solves. Like, very. Admin cycles. But yeah, moving on though, for now, we have in 33rd place, also at 116 cycles, but 68 area, Guilty Bystander. With a solution called Not Great, which is not by the player Not Great, but by Guilty Bystander.
Ooh.
Oh, this is pulling inputs every 2, kind of. Arm 6 takes a break. So it's pulling 7 inputs per 16 cycle loop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's once again purifying all the way up to copper, which is an interesting choice for efficiency's sake. I think this might have the exact same N and L as Glass Ladies, and not just the same cycle count, because it's doing all of the exact same steps, but with more wheelie arms.
Uh-huh.
I see Guilty Bystander is a subscriber to the resetting 6-arm camp.
It's not even resetting.
It's just accelerating its overclock. It'll get overclocked twice as fast.
But yeah, there's some pretty interesting. If you analyze
Arm
this
6
from
is
the
interesting. Arm 6. Oh wait, no, Arm 6 is not an 6-arm. But yeah.
yeah, if you analyze the solution from the latency perspective, it is kind of interesting because the. Okay, let's see here.
Also, no, Murakano, this is not gonna be like any TI.
Yeah, so you can see that when the ARM 3 and ARM 10 delivers out to the outputs, there's still a lot of atoms physically on the board. Specifically, there's a lot of Quicksilver that's still making through the pipeline through ARMs 1 and 3, and there's like the 10 and the Quicksilver being promoted still in ARM 7. And, ARM 6, yeah, it's kind of doing that. But these are like, cycles of latency that you can see could be saved.
Arm 6 looks like geometry issues.
ARM 6 or ARM 9?
Where's Arm 9?
ARM 9's the one that yoinks the Quicksilver all the way over to the Kryptonic.
Oh, both of them.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the big problems in cycles logistics are geometry related.
Also,
it's that same question of like, what is this? Where does this go? Where does this go? The problem being, if it's far from where it's going to go, either your layout needs to be redesigned, which is discouraging, or you just take a lot of cycles to get it there, which is slow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get what Arm 6 needs to happen now. Because Arm 6 isn't always pulling, but Arm 7 is always grabbing. Like, every chance it gets, pretty much. Yeah. Alright, Arm 9 is more of the geometry issue then. Yeah, we're starting with cycles. Yeah, this definitely looks like TI. Except it's not, because otherwise this would be 1/6T probably. Instead, it's repeating the same thing over and over, and also has extra instructions on hex arms.
I was going to say
that was whether you could 1/6T this exactly as it looks, or if there's additional, like, if this is going to be very different from Guilty Bystander's TI solve.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like a cough solve, actually, to me.
It's not exactly...
13/16 throughput.
Right. I mean, it's not actually full throughput.
Yeah, it's not full throughput.
It has that vibe.
Mm-hmm. Alright, next up we have at 104 cycles by Top of Mouse in 32nd place. This is purifying up the copper as well again.
I guess that makes... So
That's
if you're trying to
right?
design an algorithm, like, you will have 4 excess Quicksilver once you've purified to copper. 3 of those go to the copper output, and then 1 of them is the center for the other output. So in an algorithm sense, there's a simple way to solve it with purifying to copper. On a 16-cycle loop as well.
Yeah, so like projection on one side and purification on the other. That makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, it is an optimal purification.
Yeah, I guess I am only seeing this for the first time in the results stream, because when I think about a cycles puzzle, I'm writing down, like, okay, what does optimal require?
So I guess...
You can see... Sorry.
Go ahead. Go first.
Yeah, so you can see that this solution compared to the previous one, there's not like an excess of Quicksilver still being held in arms in the solution, and similarly there's not that much like, iron being held in the arms, so that it's improving upon the latency aspect quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. It's sort of just throwing the Quicksilver onto the bonds already.
Yeah, getting to use a multi-bonder really helps the latency on the copper output.
Yeah.
And I think because it is purifying, that is the limiting latency. So it's designed with the knowledge of get that copper out as fast as possible.
Yeah, another thing about purification. Purification is slow.
Purification being slow makes the difference between min and min plus 1 cycles because of how well you treat the second last input. Just a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
There's,
boy, we're gonna get into the
quite a
realms of
few
pre-building.
There's quite a few of min plus 1, actually. It's kind
That
of
seems like
interesting.
a final hurdle, that last cycle, because you have to plan the last 2 inputs to be annoyingly routed.
Mm-hmm. Alright, next up we have 31st place at 99 cycles, Catspin, which is an interesting solve, because disposal.
Huh. Trying to get a sense of the tape loop first, but it looks like it's been 2T'd.
Basically, Catspin put an input every other cycle and tried to make the most of it and just threw away everything else.
Oh wow, throwing away iron that comes out of the purifier. I see. This is just to get stuff out of the input glyph and like suddenly, hard to make that one into an output.
Yeah, that's hard to make into an outfit. I'm just gonna throw it away.
I like how she's bonding iron, or she's bonding tin bonded to quicksilver to the center on the right, and then projecting it later because you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, using the bond to move something
vaguely
around.
bricky, and the brickiness is my wheelhouse.
It's very convenient. It means you have less arms to grab stuff. And less arms usually means less area to to spend on an actual arm.
So this looks like it's still taking 16 cycles to get to its next outputs, unless the 2T is a 16 and a 14 somehow. But I'm pretty sure this is the same 13/16 throughput as the previous solutions you've all seen.
I don't have the throughput calculator up, unfortunately. Maybe I should have.
Yeah. I'm saying 13/16 because you can do a bit of not too complicated, but too complicated to kind of walk through in a voice math to prove that you can get a pair of outputs per 13 cycles on average in the infinite limit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is 71 area. You'd be surprised how small things get. But yeah, moving on. We have at 98 cycles now, in 30th place, the pilot begins. B. Smith. Well, not exactly starting pilot, but yeah. Is this optimal purification? I feel like this is optimal purification with how it's doing things.
So optimal purification will take 13 tin and purify 10 of them into 5 iron. And leave the other 3 as tin, and then project everything as needed from there.
Yeah, this feels like that.
I don't know how to look at this and say for sure that that's the case.
Okay, how many tin per tape loop?
Also, it's methoding. Everyone in the chat's talking about it too. It's doing the Tarkle's tech of building this combination of the inputs.
Yeah, method is a thing. Maybe less important in cycles, but there's another metric where method might come in.
I had a method TI solve and then I crushed it.
Yeah, there's some pretty interesting tech in this solution.
The giant track loop, to be fair, is like it's hard to program that.
I thought this one looks like a could be 52 solve.
It's reminding me of that what was it, lubricating? No, it wasn't
Lubricating
filaments.
solvents?
Yes. Yeah, it's
basically
reminding me of some of that.
Yeah, that's method. That's what we're calling method.
Yeah, this is definitely optimal purification now that I'm staring at it for long enough, just seeing how many of each atom it gets to come with.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's doing 13 input draws and using that to make one of each output, but it has quite a lot of latency from its assembly line because it's waiting on purification before it even starts bonding things together.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is the first max throughput solve, I think.
Yeah. Also, I wonder how many like past videos for this tournament you've seen, Brookie?
I have not seen too many of them.
Okay. Alright. Next up, we have in 29th place at 92 cycles, Tulair. I think this is optimal pure projection as well.
It's going at
No, it's not.
it's
Is
just
it?
behind input speed. I watched ARM 2 grab the input 3 cycles after.
Oh, it's 60.
I think it's one shy of input speed.
Oof. On that? Wait, input speed or
Goodbye Galaxy,
projection?
yes. Optimal uses 39 inputs. There's not a way to save any cycles by using a 40th input, and you can get all 6 outputs out of 39 inputs.
Mm-hmm. That was mostly intentional.
Sometimes in pure projection solves, you can take another input and use it to save latency at the end or beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like reactive gold is a perfect example. Optimal cycles is actually N2 higher than the minimum that's needed because you can save a lot of latency.
Yeah, that was true for the creative accounting record too.
Yes, and how Alarka managed to actually hit min on that one blew my mind.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Creative County is crazy.
Anyway, I'm looking at the swings out of the input on this, and those are. So I guess Tular had been wondering for a while, how do you start a plan to get to min cycles in something like this? And I'll show him the Imgur album I made about my planning approach after this stream, but I'm thinking that the position of the input already, there's a lot of disadvantages here, because it's good for bonding, but it's not good for purification, and it's not good for the iron output, which is the lower latency output. So there's a few things that are just logistically harder with this layout than with layouts we'll see later.
Yeah. I've probably been the kindest with pure projection out of the tournament hosts.
I mean, coming in over 160 is not me trying to be kind.
There was RPO with creative accounting, Biggie with amalgamated gold ring. There's Brookie with both a Welcome to House Coven, and even though that's week 0, and also Rivari's Rage. And then there's me.
Rookies? Oh, you had technically
career
pure
promotion?
projection was a thing in week 1.
Oh,
So
no,
it was
that's-
a
no,
very
that's-
trivial pure projection.
Week zero.
Yeah, my week 1 was pure projection though. That's probably I'd say the most complicated pure projection. Week 1 and week 8 are probably the most complicated pure projection. For me.
Rivari's Rage was kind of a special case, though, because it also had overlap tech, just kind of integral to the puzzle itself. So you can't really... It's a little bit harder to compare that puzzle with you know, a more standard puzzle like this one.
I mean, still complicated pure projection though.
Yes.
Metal tech in some way.
It's probably the most complicated pure projection puzzle, like, ever. Because there's no theory for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, next up we have at 28th place at 89 cycles, Britboy. Pretendly optimal. I noticed that pressing up 10 recenters the whole thing.
Yeah, it basically refreshes the solution file and tries to load its bounding box.
Yeah, but just loading in the solution doesn't center the thing.
It should.
Well, I mean, it doesn't because of Zoom mod.
Zoom mod's kind of cracked. Okay, so Britboy was aiming for n equals 42, he says in chat. That, which means that he's wasting a small amount of tin, which you can see going into the disposal.
Oh, there's disposal. I did not register it.
But yeah, with n equals 42, you would have a minimum cycles of 3 higher than 86. So it would be 89. So this is n equals 42 min cycles, I think. Unless there's some alternate latency path I didn't realize.
So min latency for the n achieved here.
Is the stream chugging for others? Because I'm having a hard time watching this solution smoothly, but it might be on my end.
It's also chugging for me.
Oh, oof.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's internet issues. A bit.
Yeah, chat's also bringing it up. I think there's a few people who are having a hard time watching this smoothly.
Well, it's smooth on my end, so the recording will be pretty smooth, I hope. Oof. How do you even fix internet? Like, I think that's probably internet issues because it's fine on my OBS.
I like the roundness of this solution.
Oh yeah.
In addition to, 42 inputs. Although he said it uses 43 with some 60 in, but the roundness is a very appealing look.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because of the number of instructions that this is chugging for you.
Well, it's not chugging
Although
for me.
It's not chugging when you're watching it, you're right. So
Yeah.
maybe there's no explanation that I can make sense of.
There are gonna be solves in week 9 that are definitely gonna chug though. But yeah. Next up we have in 27th place, also at 89 cycles, Chickens in the Attic.
I imagine there will be a couple of 89s from people who wanted the 1 and 7. So to use 42 inputs.
So this is the only 89 left.
Okay. I haven't looked at the latency for using 7 inputs. Maybe there's a way to use your waste on the last input so that L gets to be lower. Also, this is pretty compact. I'm looking at the piston that's assembling the iron output and seeing that it's wasting basically nothing there. There are a few spots where they're equilibrium, and there's some track loops that fill some space, but it's still very compact.
Is this 1 out of 7? 1 every 7?
It doesn't have disposal, so it's hard to say for sure. I'd have to watch it more smoothly than I'm getting it.
Pure rejecting is difficult to...
It does look like it is purifying iron to copper, so it has that baked-in inefficiency that'll allow it to be a wasteless 100%.
Yeah, it's doing the tin to copper thing.
I think Haxton had mentioned something in Discord as well about how if you treat the input as an iron input with the option to make tin for copper, then you get a 1 and 7 ratio or something very similar to it. So you can be wasteless at 1/7 by being inefficient in that way.
Oh yeah, Haxton originally thought that this puzzle was 1 and 7. He's usually good at pure rejection, so I just kept quiet and let him figure it out eventually himself. He did figure it out. But yeah, next up, in 26th place, at 88 cycles, we have Pizza Luigi.
Hey, good to see. So this is someone who joined the tournament after hearing about it in Opus Magnum adjacent Discord.
Yeah. And 88 is pretty decent.
Yeah, he showed that he had a very good handle on track loops, and I see the track loop that's loading purification here is very nice.
Oh, it's 60. But yeah, it's not... Even though it's like placing in about 26th in the tournament, this is definitely impressive for like... in general, compared to the normal people who play Opus.
Yeah, I would rank this puzzle as like on the difficult end of the journal to try to get mins in. And for reference, the journal had most of its cycles solutions like not even full throughput for the first 6 or so months that the journal was in the game. People just didn't want to tackle such difficult puzzles.
Now these puzzles seem a bit easy.
I'm looking at Arm 7 though, and I think it could be a piston and save 2 area, which is a little bit of a shame.
It's also interesting how Arm 14 is basically a disposal arm.
Yes. This it makes iron waste. It's completely doing projection for the copper, and it's doing a combination of purification and projection for the iron, I think. Maybe. Yeah.
Oh, right, the projection's on the bottom.
Yeah, there's that one projection there that... Yeah.
So, speaking of inspiration for this puzzle, even though the inspiration was mostly in the TI sense, it's actually Rivari's wheel,
Interesting.
in which you had to use Quicksilver in several different ways. So, the original version of this puzzle was where Tin and Quicksilver were separate.
Ooh.
That would have made it a lot easier to be super compact in cycles. That freaking debonder step that forced everything to be closer made it hard.
Yeah. That, the bonding together was mostly to make cycles more difficult.
It made my method of TI a lot more possible, so thank you.
Yeah, it actually made TI, be able to go lower, I think, because the original solve I got for, TI in this metric, in the old version was about 30-something. My new TI solve goes lower than that, but I won't spoil it.
Even just the number you've said so far has me grinning a little bit. I don't know. Let's see.
Alright, next up we have in 25th place at 83 cycles, Frogfather, saving Quicksilver. Yep, that's a lot of Quicksilver on the board.
Yeah, so if you do purification, there will be Quicksilver you have to store. That was the issue with reactive gold for the first bunch of times we tried to cycle optimize it too. Like, you have so much Quicksilver left over waiting until the purifications are done.
Mm-hmm.
And then we learned that there's a slightly greedier algorithm where you use up Quicksilver early to prevent having to store it, and you sort of use it as it comes.
Yeah.
And that greedy algorithm was very interesting in that it could save a lot of secondaries on reactive gold.
Mm-hmm.
This solution is like a good visual example of like, oh, Quicksilver storage logistics kind of suck.
Yeah. I think there's still quite a bit of Quicksilver storage on Celestial Thread.
That one doesn't surprise me because that puzzle is harder. I don't think I've ever enjoyed an approach to it that is actually in cycles.
Yeah, Celestial Thread is hard. It's one of the harder journal puzzles. It's not like alchemical slag refined bronze levels of hard, but it's hard.
I'm watching ARM 15, and I'm wondering if it's possible to save area by letting ARM 7 do the output drop off instead of having ARM 9, but I don't know.
ARM 7 seems to be... Yeah, ARM 7 looks like it's hard to fit stuff in. It's only got 2 cycle gaps remaining.
Oh, I just realized we're already down to 83 cycles. That's really cool.
Oh yeah. So, if you didn't know, Min is 81.
Yeah, that comes from n equals 39, l equals 2.
Sorry if
And
you're
L
part of
equals-
the 82 palette.
Yeah, l equals 2 is only necessary to happen on the iron output. You don't have to be min latency on both outputs because one of them is made from an earlier final input. But if you actually take the last input, you stick it into the iron output in the right shape, and then you purify the other one. Or you project the metal on it, then you get L equals 2 for an 81 cycle solve.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of alternate ways to get L equals 2, but the multi-bond and project is the conceptually simplest.
Which, speaking of 82, here we go. We're starting with 24th place at 82 cycles and 119 area. Hello, Jasper.
Ah, yeah, we're into the 82s. So I'm imagining the reason that you would end up at 82 instead of 81 comes not from the last input, but from the second last input. If the metal in your second last input goes to the purification glyph, then it has L equals 5. And when there's a number that is 3 higher than the input after it, then it becomes limiting. If it's 2 higher than the input after it, it's simultaneously, they're both limiting. But if it's 3 higher, then you now kind of get bottlenecked by that instead. Hell Jasper has an odd one out looking pipeline to the right that'll get that low latency final input. That's really cool. It's not min latency though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like this one's L equals 3 because of the debonding.
Yeah, min latency is not debonding the final input and out of 2T. You can make this in 2T, but min latency is not debonding the final input and throwing it directly into the iron output.
Yeah, it's harder to take advantage of bonding symmetry when the quicksilver in the middle of the iron output is the last thing you get.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine there are quite a few ways to end up one cycle off of min. I'm guessing only the one that I ran into, but
I think the most I see are actually just debonding everything and not just directly throwing it into the last output.
I see. So someone who takes a debond step and doesn't bond preserve.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
That's mostly what I've been seeing. We'll see. But next up we have in 23rd place, at 115 area, 100k. Also, I see Chickens in the Attic finally got an account called Chickens in the Attic.
Instead of... Oh geez, it was a harder to remember one. There's Gearbox Gordon on Discord, but the Twitch was like MDB something.
Mm-hmm.
So this one seems to have an up and a down path. Now it's a right and a left path.
Yeah, because it fits on the screen better.
So this one also has two different mechanisms by which it outputs the iron output, which makes sense. It's 2T. The second output comes in based on as few steps as possible, but that's at L equals 3, just like Hollow Jasper's.
Yeah, it's also just debonding everything. So
I like ARM 7, for what that's worth. It has a buy arm because it doesn't have to reset.
yeah. Also, so despite debonding increasing latency on a lot of these solves, having the input separated into two inputs does not reduce latency. It's still 81.
That sounds correct as well.
Yeah.
It's just because you can use the multi-bonder more effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Like the biggest issue with the multi-bond and project is that you're putting bonder underneath the metal that you need to project, which means if you had to form that bond, you could.
Yeah. Alright, next up we have in 22nd place at 103 area, Echo. Do I need to rotate this? It doesn't make a difference if I do.
This one's swinging its inputs out. Except for the ones that's going to go up and to the right, which I guess is just the 60
It's
input.
60.
Oh.
Okay. There's no requirement that it be 60. I think this algorithm would work with 2T, but it's interesting to see that every input is swung out. That has the same sort of inefficiency as I called out in Tular's solve, where it's just so much more restrictive in where you can move. And I know Tolaris said in chat, like, I'm amazed how many ways there are to get the reagent off the input glyph in a small space. Yeah, when you're swinging, it really restricts you, but if you can slide and plan on most of them being slides, you can get a swing or two in there that are really efficient as well.
Chickens and Addict said they got their account back. So this is their old account.
Aha. It's interesting to see also that the copper output in all of these solutions has been non-limited. It's just possible to make the copper output whenever. But the iron output is limiting, and they have a special pipeline to get it out at the 6th output faster. Sometimes it's the 2nd. We might even see somewhere it's the 3rd. But as long as it includes the 6th, then that's the fastest you can be.
Yeah, copper output is significantly easier to make because, first of all, you can just project everything. And, well, there's no second of all, but yeah. You can just project everything. It's also not latency limiting, so yeah, there's that.
You can project everything in the copper output. It doesn't break any laws for you to project the tin into iron that becomes copper. But it makes getting the second to last input fast enough for an 81 harder.
Yeah.
It's something that I had to scrap in the planning phase. So I'm using a purified iron to start my copper outputs.
If I made the copper output the second output on the puzzle, you mean if I swap those two around?
I don't follow the statement either. Oh, Britboy literally just looked at the puzzle and said, alright, build this one that you see first in the products list, and then build this one that you may see second in the products list. And that influences the planning.
I guess that can happen. Alright, next up we have at a drop-in area at 61 area in 21st place, Cavalier.
Whoa.
From 103 to 61. That kind of feels bad because for Cavalier, like, probably optimized that area quite a lot and then ended up in the situation I end up in quite a lot.
Let's see, they started for their 82 cycles adventures, they started at 90.
That is a lot of stuff over that input.
At least for submitted. Yeah, for 82 cycles, they started at 90 area. And saved all this, like, saved 29 area and got 0 places out of it.
Oof.
Cavalier, and I feel your pain. Still, this is a very compact solution. I like it.
So it's...
I'm also trying to piece together how it manages to be 2T, and so I see that the second iron drops at the exact same time as the second copper, but the first copper is faster than the first iron, which makes me think it's doing an inefficient algorithm for the first copper on latency because it doesn't, or for the first iron on latency because it doesn't need it.
Yeah.
But then for the second one, it optimizes to be as maximally efficient.
Wait, has
I like the way the very last tin is moving. It's like going around a 2-length arm in 180 degrees.
But yeah, this is very compact. I mean, it does get even more compact, but... this is compact already. Alright, next up, which may come as quite a bit of surprise. In 20th place at 82 cycles at 47 area.
Whoa.
We have Mr. Puzzle.
Ooh.
Wow. That's an unfortunate placement, but an impressive area score.
Yeah.
This has me doubting my secondary. This is so compact.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the fact that 82 probably isn't that different from 81. algorithm-wise.
Yeah, I mean, people can probably get under 50 at 81 as well.
You just need that swing space.
I'm looking at ARM 7. I'm trying to figure out why it holds onto that first copper output.
It's trying to sync the drops with the other output. It's in phase.ogg. If the first iron output is going to be a little delayed, ARM7 can just hold it there until it's time.
I wonder I wonder what placement Mr. Puzzle would have gotten if they actually got an 81. Probably pretty high.
So I'm looking at this position of the input relative to the multi-bonder, and it doesn't look like it would work in this layout.
Yeah,
but
true.
If this is his standard, he's probably going to find a layout that's comparably good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically all the 82s are debond everything because of debonding everything. Mr. Puzzle may have just missed that. Unfortunately. He's not in here in the VC now, though.
A cycle's puzzle means that the latency is punishing. Off by 1, off by like 10 places at least, probably 20.
Well, this is the last 82 cycle solve.
That makes sense. It's hard to get smaller.
Because moving on, we have at 242 area now, at min cycles in 19th place, Cuckoo 52, with a 60 solve called Don't Care Got Min.
Don't care not min.
Don't Care Got Min.
Got min, okay. I heard not min and was not sure how that was the title.
Man, Zoom
off to a great start.
So this is a thing you can do.
Just make some batches.
Yeah, the batching of the coppers is just reminiscing of so many overlap solves that I've seen you do, Biggie.
True, yeah, you extrude all of the stuff you need and then
oh yeah, this is very much like overlap tech.
So it uses its 6 Quicksilver buffer at the bottom to promote tin to iron, and then it flips that iron over onto a pair of other iron on a multibonder to get min latency on the iron output. Is it just as tight on the copper, or is there a little more time?
No,
it looks like it's fast, like the copper is way ahead of the iron.
Mm-hmm.
Cuckoo 52 with a big brain solution that was not going to ever win an area tiebreak, which is very cool, and it's a successful min cycles algorithm.
I don't think this is going to break any tiebreaker other than, like, creativity. It's not going to be gold for that's for sure as well. It's got too much track.
I mean, it does simplify things a bit, because you can just sort of have the iron sitting there and not have to route it around.
I wonder if
just
this
sort
would
of bond
be
it where it's convenient.
A min cycles speed solve record. Actually, you know what? I can actually check that. Who submitted the first min cycle solve? Velvacane did. Never mind.
Boilers.
I mean, we're already at min cycles and they haven't appeared.
That's true.
Alright, next up we have at 18th place with 159 area, Magmaster. Can I zoom in again? Yes, I can. ARM1 just dancing on the Critelli. This one looks like it's basically doing an on one out almost on the one of the iron outputs?
Considering it's 2T, I'd just say that more like
Yeah,
two
just two
pipelines.
pipelines.
Yeah.
Except one of them is going like the far way around.
Yeah. More
This
latency.
one doesn't even use a multi-bonder for the iron.
Yeah, you can just project once and then bond as you project and then do the other bond second. It's one of the alternate ways, but it requires more movement and two bonders takes up the same area as a multi-bonder.
Yeah.
I appreciate ARM 1 a lot.
It's doing a little Gratelli dance.
It's honoring the Critelli.
It's still wild to me that you can have two arms grabbing the same atom and rotate in opposite directions and not crash.
You mean pivot glitch?
Pivot glitch is
Yep,
not allowed
yep.
in tournament, I believe.
Yeah, but like it's funny though. We found that out in tournament when Brookie was trying to explain how you can't pivot in both directions, and whoops, you can. It was funny.
Yep. That is a bug. Don't use it.
Unless you're putting it at showcase. I think we've had showcase on one of the TIs. Yeah, it's useful. And the only appliance I could think of for pivot glitch is probably TI.
Yeah, you can probably do some pretty weird, interesting things with pivot glitch in TI.
It's also a way to get your tutorial speedrun into the any % leaderboards without the main leaderboards.
Alright, next up we have 99 area in 17th place. Goodbye Galaxy. Blood from a Stone. I don't know, is Blood from a Stone reference from something?
It's squeezing blood from a stone is trying to make the most of very little.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you get a tiny input. And tiny area.
This looks like it's 60, and it's holding on to some things all the way through to like the very end on the track loop at the bottom. Ah, there's an 82 that he's forced to be an 81. It looks like ARM 20 is the only one that's in a position to help with that. It would have to rotate the input. No, I'm not seeing how it manages to get the last iron into position fast enough. It can't put it on the debonder. That's illegal. So what is it doing to get an 81 out of it?
Oh, there's... Yeah, there was that very last, kind of... So it stores a Quicksilver, and then the very last input gets rotated directly onto the, multi-bonder, and that gets you the minimum latency thing.
Yeah, there it is.
Right there.
Got it.
Kinda? Yeah.
Yeah, that's min latency. That works. I couldn't find that arm because there's a lot of arms in the spot where that arm lives.
Psycho's area just makes this whole thing ARM heavy. ARM 12 is interesting.
Yeah. It's extracting the iron from the copper side of things and passing it over to the from the to the iron output.
Yeah, it passes through so many arms.
Yeah, some of the challenges are that if you're doing purification, you still need some purification outputs to go to one input, one output, and some to go to the other. I'm pretty sure you can't get away with always projecting the copper output and still hitting it. So you'll need purification to travel in two directions, which means you're going to have to move through the atoms or the arms, through the fire or the flames.
Especially with Psycho's area. Alright, next up.
Looking at the piston pinion and just thinking, oh, that's expensive.
Yeah. Well, it's Psycho's area. Cost doesn't matter as much. It will matter I think it does matter sometimes, but I'm not sure.
Ooh, I wonder if there are tie breaks where I might leave it, because I'm pretty cheap for my area.
Alright, next up we have in 16th place at 86 area. Not great.
Ooh. This is some interesting...
That's 60. Because I
Yeah,
noticed
it's
it
doing
wasn't
the...
doing it optimally until like the very last outputs.
Yeah, it's doing the 2-bonder instead of a single multi-bonder step thing for the very last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 purification glyphs, one for the copper side and one for the iron side.
Oh yeah, I see. That's one way to get around having to pass the iron all the way around.
Yeah, 2 glyphs helps you, although 2 glyphs is area, but this size area is still easily saved by adding glyphs and reducing complexity.
I've received a solve that was basically min glyph for min cycles. Other than the fact that it uses a triple bonder instead of 2 bonders, so that's 10 more cost than min glyph cost.
So it uses the same multi-bonder for both outputs?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's interesting. It's gonna come up, like, sometime. Because it is a scoring solve, actually.
Ooh. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Whoever made the solve, you probably already know what I'm talking about. But yeah, next up we have at 75 area in 15th place, Tweedledee. I think I can zoom all the way into default zoom now.
I'm chatting with chat and realizing I might have some broken assumptions, so
Oh boy.
my solve is going to have a few things that I assumed were necessary that work.
Broken assumptions from Vicky, huh?
Yep. Logistics of planning out min cycles is not trivial. Anyway, Tweedledee's solve though. Add a new arm each time there's no existing arm to grab into it. That's how you beat this enormous mess of arms. They all work though.
That's how you do things. Just make sure you're able to actually just still grab the input though.
Yeah, and you have enough place to put your quicksilvers, which this one does.
Sometimes when you don't have any more places to place arms, just place track and move in an arm from elsewhere.
Very true.
Though there's still one more place to do it. Here, I think? Yeah. There's one more empty spot you can put another arm. Track warm in the middle. Yeah. The 7-track non-loop. But yeah, so it's pretty compact in the sense that there's not a lot of swing space, but it's got a lot of arms though. I guess there is still quite a bit of swing space. But yeah, next up we have in 14th place at 70 area now, Fiesta. Studying for their wizard's degree. It's been cycles. So this one's operating at with only one purification glyph.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that are doing a single purification glyph are also loading it using a track loop, which is, in my opinion, kind of the optimal route. I don't know if that's going to be challenged as well, but It means that you have access to the grab, a slide, the debonder, and both sides of the purification glyph
Yeah, so
without needing too many arms.
this is project-only copper.
I need to figure out.
No. It's purified
Oh, wait,
from
never mind.
Yeah,
It does
Oh,
grab it off
okay.
the purification glyph first. The
All
people
right.
who have talked about project only copper still have me surprised because you don't have anything you can do with the second to last input. It can't be a part of a purification, but it can't reach copper fast enough.
I guess we'll see.
I'm missing something. I'm gonna have to see it when it happens.
yeah.
Needs more piston. Just replace everything with pistons. It's not like it's just gonna stop working.
Arm 7 doesn't need to be a piston because Arm 10 is already swinging over the back tiles.
Alright.
Kind of find where Arm 7 is.
Let's
Oh, it's
see.
the one that is doing translations
Oh,
only.
Arm 7 is the
yeah,
one on 3 tracks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just covered by Arm 9 for a lot of the time.
Saving
True,
5G
yeah.
versus the piston, I guess.
Alright. Next up, we have at 65 area in 13th place, Rami.
Okay, well, at least I beat Rolomni. It might not be top 10 given the numbers that are dropping so fast.
65 area is pretty small for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And Rolomni's using 2 purification glyphs, which removes some of the need for big swings, but it also servicing it with arms, which means it's going to be more area.
I mean, you don't have
I'm
to
curious
service
to see
it
what
at
this thing looks
as
like.
high of as a rate, though, since it's split between the two.
Yeah, and some of the big annoyances of purification glyphs are that they have collision hitboxes that can't be avoided during a cycle. You can't grab it until it's already created the atom, which means it's already had that chance to collide.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. But that's the nice thing about the projection glyph, though, right? Because like the one neat thing about the projection glyph is that you can promote at the start of the cycle and have another arm be, holding on to the rest of the molecule and swing away in the same cycle, which is I think it's the only glyph to do something like that.
Yeah, it's the only
probably.
glyph that can activate without basically a touchless activation.
It means you can actually you can project twice in a cycle, even without overlap. You just can't do that 2 times in a row without overlap.
Yeah, it's the only touchless consuming glyph.
Yeah, so basically you just leave it
Cross solves
on.
love that. You just swing across something and the quicksilver disappears as the metal gets into position. Swing right through it. Alright, so Rolomni was talking about how he's trying not to be too attached to the tournament, but he still made a min-cycle 65 area solution, so I don't know where his standards really are. It's a great solve.
Rolami's just good at making good solves quickly. He made this in like a day or 2 and then left for vacation.
Yeah, I only spent 1 day on Cycles, and then I went tryharding on TI for the rest of the time, but Cycles is probably coming up soon, which maybe 10 people beat me.
Alright, next up in 12th place, we have, at 63 area, Ravioli.
Oh, nice. Congrats. I saw them ooh-wooing in the Discord and saying they were going to submit this week.
Ooh-wooing.
Small.
Yeah, that's something that they do. They ooh-woo.
Ooh-wooing is a great verb.
Oh, let's see here. This
has purification for both
correct.
sides of the puzzle, and it has a multi-bonder for the copper side, but not for the iron side. So its iron output is done on a bonder with a projector, and then another bonder.
Catspin also ooh-woos, I also ooh-woo. Ooh-woo is basically that face. Yeah, it's like a mouth and then 2 eyes that are closed. It's a content face. It's often also like paired with OWO, which a lot of you are probably more familiar with. It's basically the closed eyes version of OWO.
Yeah, I think Ravioli hasn't submitted for this tournament besides this puzzle. So showing their love for cycles, arriving
Yeah,
for week
pretty
8. Appreciate seeing you there.
And that's
I like how
cycles.
Arm 7 is on a track just to get out of the way of the final, whatever you call it, swing.
Min
Oh,
latency.
yeah. The min latency
Yeah.
swing. It doesn't increase area, so it's just 10 extra cost that probably doesn't matter.
Mhm.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
There's something interesting about I from what I've heard, this is just rumors, that there's been some controversy around the Critelli uses lately.
You've heard Goodbye Galaxy screaming reject Critelli into the void.
It's Goodbye Galaxy here with us today in the chat. There it is.
I think this solve has a good Critelli.
Yeah.
None of the things surrounding it are even equilibrium glyphs.
Uh-huh.
It's fine. It's a fine Cortez.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Alrighty, next up we have in 11th place at 61 area, Maraconda.
Oh, I beat Mara! He had been talking about how he got this solve done in an hour, and that it was pretty good, and it sounded like it would be pretty good.
Oh, so many pistons.
Yeah, I mean, so Mara showed that in reduced area space, getting a cycle solution done, like, he's good at it. He got first place in the cabinet puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
So this is that skill set. I think this puzzle with only one input means that it's not overwhelming. Well, it's still overwhelming to a degree, but not outside of Mara's ability zone to get down to min cycles with this input speed at a very compact layout.
Oh hey, Critelli isn't covered by area.
Yeah, I like this Critelli better. It's like, it's aesthetically nice. You have the output sort of curling around it as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Good
this
job.
also has project-only copper.
Oh. Oh.
I want to watch what that second to last metal input is doing.
I'll tap through.
Oh, okay. It's actually sending the second to last input to copper,
it's-
and it does two
And it's
projections and a
double
multibot.
Yeah, it's a double proc projection.
Yeah, okay. So that's the way to route the second to last input that saves you from needing to purify on the copper side. I think I counted that wrong by 1.
Ooh. It's still doing 2 purification glyphs though. For geometry reasons, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think the copper side on this shows that you can take at least 5 area off my solve.
Oh,
Which
boy.
incidentally is going to come up next, right?
Yes, it is. Next up in 10th place we have Biggie
Cycles main, by the way.
at 60 area. It's like cost main. Everybody in top 10, you get to call yourself a Cycles main.
Hey, that includes me.
Hey.
But yeah,
Nice.
most of the area in this one comes from the fact that I'm trying to pass iron and quicksilver both ways. So there's a big, ugly iron swing from the purifier,
Oof.
and then an even bigger, uglier quicksilver swing from Arm 9.
Yeah, I'm kind
Which was Arm
of
9? Oh, that one's Arm 9.
surprised. I'm a little surprised at the abundance of 3 lengths arm here, which is
The abundance
always-
of 3 length arms in a Cycles area solve.
yeah.
Even though
So
3 of
three
them
are
are
only ever
mostly on a track
translated.
loop. Yeah.
The ones that load the purification glyph are only ever translating, and then the other 2
Right.
are there to do swings that I could not find a way to avoid because I just missed the option.
Yeah, there are still... having
only copper.
3 of them that are actually swinging, it's still quite a bit though.
Actually, could you have saved one area by moving that diamond track up by arm 11 instead of down there?
No, because one of those arms actually swings.
Oh, okay.
It provides the second to last
Oh,
input
yeah,
because
I
my
just
second
saw.
to last input goes to the iron
Oh, I see.
side because of
Okay,
my
so 4
mistaken
arms that
routing.
actually swing.
But yeah, this is me at min cycles, but at 60 area, which I thought was probably good. I'm not going to try to revisit it. I'm going to spend like 30 hours on TI.
We'll see if that paid off.
For what it's worth, I have an Indra album about how I got to my first solve that was like 64 area, but otherwise this. So if you want to see how I reached my flawed reasoning, but also how I got there, there's a walkthrough.
Yeah.
Probably someone else's final solve will be a better one to do that with than my own.
Alrighty, next up we have in 9th place at 59 area. Congratulations to Velvacane. Yeah, it seems like Diggy just missed the projection only copper.
I wonder if there's going to be anyone with purified metal into copper output who beats me.
We'll see.
Howdy, hey, Mr. Puzzle. Welcome back. And I'm
Hey, Mr. Puzzle.
sorry to let you know that your amazingly tight solution was flunked.
Yeah.
The solution for 81 is bond preserving. You do not need to break the bond that creates the iron and quicksilver.
By the way, you want to join the... You can join the VC if you want, Mr. Puzzle.
Yeah, I can't be sad about missing something because I know that there's another top player who missed something more substantial than I did.
Hiya, Mr. Puzzle.
Hello. I had assumed you had to break everything apart.
Yeah.
Fortunately, your solution is the smallest we've ever seen so far. Maybe it'll continue to be the smallest.
Hell, so I was. So at least I did get it nice and tight.
How much area was it? Let me check. 47.
47, yeah, it was really small.
I felt so good about it.
Yeah, it looked good. It looked very good. Unfortunately, like everybody in the 82 cycles pileup missed the fact that you can just put the last input directly on a bonder instead of debonding it.
Bad assumptions.
Yeah.
Oof.
I like Arm 4 in Velvacane Solve, by the way. It holds on to the same input all the way up to disposing into the output. It swing, pivot, swing. Or translate, swing, pivot, swing, but yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not wasting a lot of area getting it to the output either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because a lot of it was, used by other glyphs, so...
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, next up we have, also at 59 area, but 605 cost, Buttermilk Donut.
Ooh.
Let me turn this on because there's no equilibrium here.
Yeah, here's another projection-only copper. It gets to pivot on that projector glyph because it does have to stay there to wait for the other quicksilver.
Mm.
But it's very impressive this is only 59 area because that's a lot of swinging and equilibrium on the right.
Yeah.
Man, if I had figured that out though, there's so much tightness that could happen. I'm going to have to wait for other people to have optimized it perfectly.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, how many arms is this? 13. 39. I guess that's what it mostly saves on. Just not a lot of arms.
It is, there's... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, when you do CA for something like airship fuel or rocket propellant, where it's not trivial but not that difficult, then trying to secondary optimize area, it's really mostly just get rid of arms. Make there be as few arms as needed so that you don't have to spend another arm on a footprint that uses area.
Cut the arms, cut the swing space.
Hmm. Yeah, I was going to mention that there's still kind of an abundance of piston arms here when for gold optimization. So it is only 40 gold cheaper than Velvacane, but you know, like the pistons definitely add to that.
Also, so Mr. Puzzle's fancy area color mod is just finally the setup's getting close to usable mod, right? Your fancy
Say that
color
again?
area mod is just the complicated abbreviation.
This setup is getting close to usable.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. That's what the abbreviation's for. Yeah,
yeah. So basically,
Fitziku. That's how I say it. It's
so yeah,
not how you
I
say it.
just haven't updated that mod, so I don't get fancy colors as of now. Oh, is this Buttermilk Girl's first top 10? Nice. Also, they said to watch on 13. Yeah, that's a long translation.
Goes all the way around to get it into the projection.
Yeah, congratulations to Biggie for getting top 10th place, Velvacane for 9th place, and congratulations to Buttermilk Donut for getting 8th place. And beating Biggie.
Yeah, honestly, congratulations to everyone who got mid on this one, first off. But then also, those of you who are ahead of me in secondaries, yeah, that's a good find.
Gotta go find that one picture of that achievement that says you beat Biggie
The
at a
Romney.
cycle puzzle. Yeah, that one.
Well,
It's
a
so
lot
good.
more people pulled that one off on week 1.
Yeah.
Because the cost secondary there, I didn't go very hard on. I think beating me in primary cycles is the thing Romney was getting that picture out over, because that was the one that had the quintessential stabilizer where 31 was doable and then 30 and 29 were just hell on earth.
The only
And
chance you're
Romney
gonna
was the only person who suffered through it.
the only chance you're gonna be beating Biggie on the Cycles Primary is on something like High Gloss Finish or refined bronze or something. Or quintessential medium.
Oh god, all of the ultra cursed puzzles for cycles.
High Gloss Finish is just an ultra cursed puzzle in general on any metric.
I am bold enough to provide you with Forced Waste, a min cost that is nasty, and cycles that is awful.
Forced to Vitae Waste, yeah. What
Yeah,
was
none
the
of the
reason
puzzles
for that
in Tourney have
anyways?
had an unclear cycles min and then asked for cycles. These have all been minnable. Then it's just a question of secondaries, which I might be weaker on than I had given myself credit.
The closest I have given was week 6. That was the closest I gave.
Trying to remember if there were any really crazy unclear min cycles in last year's tournament.
I mean, I'd say week 7.
It was just awful. It wasn't unclear. No one
week
wants to
7 was
yeah.
just bad.
Week 5 was unbonder cycles. That was a little bit more fascinating as a concept to try to
Right,
make
but
min fine.
Mist of
That
Dowsing
wasn't
is pretty
like a-
clear if you. Mist of
Mist of
Dowsing,
Dowsing
you get to
required
calculate
you
it.
have a specific algorithm for min to be reasonable. But I did get it. I got min, and I was the only one.
Yeah, it was calculatable as well, like easily calculatable compared to something like High Gloss Finish.
Oh, I guess the I'm thinking of a Welcome to House Colvan,
Oh,
which
right,
was the
yeah,
test puzzle, because that min cycles is ugh.
That
Yeah, we
was
needed to
very
pull an
much.
Alarica who could figure out how to save pure projection latency. She got us down to 47. Starfish and I both stuck on 48 on our own.
Yeah. And I didn't make Rivari's rage into a cycles puzzle because I'm not
You.
evil.
Ew. Alrighty, next up we have 58 area in 7th place. Congratulations to Evanov. He keeps getting cheaper. And this is cheaper than the previous off. Okay.
I think mine was 560.
By the way, this is purifying. Is this purifying copper? This is purifying copper.
It is, and it has purification glyphs on both sides. So
Ooh.
I really like how the arms on the track river have all the access points they need. This is fewer arms than I think mine had, and it's really well laid out.
Track river
Good
is
job,
a good way
Evan.
to describe it. We can extend the track river even as well. I want to
Yeah,
extend
but I
the track
think
river.
this specific track river, every arm uses everything about it. Like arms 9 and 10 both occupy the bottom of the far left corner.
I want to
But yeah,
extend the track
you
river.
can continue to extend it.
I can also extend it to arm 1 and arm 6, but that doesn't quite matter. It's also extra cost.
Someone in chat earlier was talking about how when they make a solution, they don't connect the tracks, and then Jinyu comes and says, "All right, let me optimize this," and as part of optimizing it, connects the tracks, which reduces the number of parts, which to Jinyu is one of the Pareto options, even though it's not a tracked Pareto option. So by having fewer parts, it's a better solution. But I think, yeah, Chumchain's boy is out here saying, don't connect them, it's unclear.
Yeah, it is unclear. I prefer to separate them, but also track river, go brr.
I was gonna say, I didn't really understand why people connect tracks, because it makes it definitely harder to parse the solution, but now that you mentioned that it's actually fewer parts, now I understand why Jinyu does it.
If there is a number associated with the solution and it can be made smaller, people do that.
Yeah, if you don't solve the puzzle, it does tell you how many parts there are.
Oh god, just reminding me of a school meme. You're at Georgia Tech, you can do that!
Your alma mater's calling.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Apparently it became a meme, but anyway.
I mean, that's like the have it your way of school sayings.
Oh my god.
Alright, next up we have at 57 area. In 6th place, congratulations to Newer Shark.
Ooh.
Fast and small. Very dense arms.
Shaving the area down one by one.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering if there's any jumps
This has a
down an
lot
area.
more arms than Evanov's.
Yeah, it's
And fewer
a
glyphs.
755.
Also, yeah, it has the project-only copper. You can watch the arm that rotates and then pivots and outputs. It even hands off. Arm 11 does the rotate, and arm 17 does the handoff and the output, which makes sense because it has a cycle where it's forced to wait. Really slick. Routing around that piston in the middle is pretty impressive. This is so dense.
Yeah, ARM 8 is the one that does the min latency output for the iron.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It's also interesting how the last two moves on the iron output is both translations.
Yeah, when you do multi-bond and then project, that is possible. It seemed like a nightmare to try to have that be the case, but Nushar has figured it out. Arm 7 has a lot to do with it. The fact that Arm 7 sneaks in and rotates that copper behind it, or the iron behind it, helps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ARM 5's rotate goes over a whole bunch of hexes, but it's used by ARM 7 and ARM 4. I'm wondering if ARM 4 could be a 2-length arm on a 2-track.
Where's arm 4?
I think it has to be in the close position at a bad time. It doesn't have that much freedom to when it can pull, and it looks like the swings are happening across it when it would be grabbing.
Oh, right. There's
Yeah,
a
it would
3
be that
swing from
annoying
arm 5.
3-linked arm. Yeah.
Also, I like Tillar's comment in chat, like, they're just breaking the input over the piston, like, snapping it over the base of the piston.
That's a very strong piston right there.
Hacha!
There's also only one debonder, huh?
Yep.
That was true of my solve as well, and I think some of the ones before this.
I'm kind of curious why ARM 10 is outputting differently than just sliding it across.
It needs to be in the low position, but not as early as it gets there.
Huh. Hex void pick here. Yeah,
Haxton, username void, pentapig.
deer is
I don't
Bambi.
follow Bambi.
There's also
and one
flying
other.
deer. Expect it not to admit. But yes, there's also flying deer.
Is deer fine deer or Bambi? That's actually a
Oh, wait a
reasonable
minute.
name for either.
Oh yeah, so I think the reason for ARM 10 is actually it saves one area because all those hexes are already used by other things.
Yeah, I think there's a...
I think Murakon's
Actually, I don't
answer
know.
to our question for is deer Bambi or flying deer is yes. At least that's how I'm interpreting the smile.
Mara is known in the Necrodancer community for assigning names to things that they shouldn't be named, so this doesn't surprise me.
Flying deer.
Creative portmanteaus.
Alright, next up in 5th place we have at 54 area now.
Ooh.
Hexton,
Let's
congratulations! You are also the min glyph solve I was talking about.
So this only has one multi-bonder?
One multi-bonder, one
Yes.
debonder, one projection, one purification.
Fascinating. So it's... Oh, how is it going to do that? How does it get the second iron output? Like, it can't be using the min latency or the project only copper because that would mean that it's on the multi-bonder when the iron needs to be there.
Just
So
passes
this
the
is doing the
projection.
same algorithm mine did, but it's just so correctly pipelined that it doesn't take up much area. This is amazing. Axton, you did an amazing job.
This is basically overlapping 2 pipelines.
And somehow they don't mess with each other. That's incredible.
Honestly, ARM 15 is my only, like, oh, it breaks my heart that it has to be walking that input down instead of getting to rotate it or even just pull it as a piston and then rotate after.
It doesn't get a chance to regrab so that you can't split it up into like just a piston on the top and a piston on the bottom either.
If only you just had a really long piston, just put it on the bottom.
Big piston.
It's interesting though, because if ARM 15, if we assume that ARM 15 was somehow snuggled into the underarm area of everything else, that's 5 area that
a 5
could
area.
be... Yeah, because the Critelli, right?
You said underarm. Snicker, snicker.
Oh, come on.
But also, good point. Good point.
So that means that maybe sub 50 area at min latency might be possible. We'll have to see.
Just looking at what Mr. Puzzle made, I am not expecting min to be any higher than 47. I'm imagining Pentapix here with a 81, 46 something.
Right, but I think the thing is, I'm suspecting that because you have to, like, you know, get the last input out in a min latency path, I suspect that creates like extra area necessary for your solution. So it might be higher than 47, but I don't know.
We'll have to see. But yeah, next up in 4th place we have at 53 area. Congratulations to username Void.
Ooh.
It's also looking very compact. That one looking very compact. So yeah, project only copper.
Yeah, just being able to part the input to go only ever left or right logistically simplifies this so much.
Mhm.
This is probably like I'm self-serving with this remark, but if I had seen project only copper, this is about the size of a solution I could have made. I
That
guess
would
like
have
probably
gotten
5
you
less than what
fourth
I needed.
place.
I'm glad that other people did because I don't deserve higher placements if I'm missing something that's this cool.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to ask for predictions on top 3. Oh well, there's only like there's 3
I'm
people
gonna
left.
guess
You already know
Pentapig,
top 3. There's 3 people left.
Pentapig, Deer, and
Bambi's the one. Yeah. Alright. Next up then, we have in 3rd place, at 51 area, congratulations to Pentapig.
Oh wow, okay.
Ooh,
Area keeps dropping.
getting
I'm
really
good.
close.
And if I get burritoed, I'll get a little salty. Just a little bit.
Deer in the top 2, yeah. So, yeah,
I like-
protection only.
I like how
Copper.
there isn't a single equilibrium here. If you hold 2, the only equilibrium in the game would be the Critelli.
Oh, there's one.
Every other
No,
every
there's
other
one.
tile that is used has something productive on it.
There's one under arm 5.
Oh, you're right. Because of the rotated makes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well then, Rip, I don't like the solution anymore. That was my one.
Third place, no.
Better luck next time, Ben.
But you see, you gotta apply Pentapig's philosophy here. An equilibrium glyph is an extra part in the puzzle.
It's interesting that ARM 8 has to be an ARM on a track like this. It still works because ARM 1 uses the track as well, but it's doing a translation that there isn't a single place available a pivot could also, or a piston could also do.
Mm. I wonder if whatever arm 8 is doing can be like just inside the Critelli.
No, ARM 1 definitely swings through that spot trying to make a
right,
projection happen for the bond.
That doesn't happen very often, so I forgot that happens. Oh, oof. Username void vistas off. Yep, you got 4th place. Oh, right, you can see on the screen. I forgot that I have that written. But yeah, next up in 2nd place, we have also at 51 area, but much cheaper at 550 gold. Bambi.
Hey!
Nice.
Area 51, that makes Finding 1st place. So yeah, congratulations to Pentapic for getting 3rd,
Finder the
Bambi for
win.
getting 2nd, and Finder for getting 1st.
But does it go below 50?
We'll check that out. So this one has no triple bonders.
Yeah, it's doing the L equals 2 with 2 bonders. And it's also purify or project only copper, but its purification glyph is so far out of the way that I guess that really frees up some swing space. ARM 13 has to do real Houdini moments, squeezing past. Like, the iron to get to that position in the middle is not easy.
Finder says the first 81 would have placed 1st. It was at 50.
Amazing.
Also, yeah,
Ooh.
first 20 win, at least this year for Finder. I don't know if they've won before. In 2020 or 2019.
I like just how long that Quicksilver sits on that equilibrium glyph there.
Oh.
Yeah, ARM9 is doing some interesting storage moments so that the pipeline can make just Quicksilver, Copper, Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, anyways, In first place, we have Pioneer at 44 area.
Whoa!
Oh,
Incredible. Oh my gosh. A blowout on area secondary.
Too bad that doesn't affect the scores as much.
I think we need to pull in username void scoring solve. Like, this is so
that-
compact.
Isn't that Communist Mountain?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Communist Mountains. That's who I was thinking of. I simply said the name that was in front of me.
Mr. Puzzle, this is Alperito, you?
no, mine's cheaper.
Okay, yeah, I was asking about that for the cost.
Phew, phew.
Okay, this
Yeah,
one truly has an
ARM1.
armed river.
Our ARM1's
This is the amazing solve I
delivery.
was hoping to see.
I want to mention that ARM1's delivery for the last min latency thing is just so smooth with the
Rotate, extend.
that's just there.
That's
It
like
takes up
literally
so
the
little
smallest
area.
you can take up, probably.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And also the copper output also is really low area because it's doing translations and almost there's no rotation at all of the final finished piece.
Yeah, and using the single bonders instead of the multi-bonder, it's like technically the same amount of area, but the way that you can move it around inside of it is like makes it so that you can get your area lower.
Also, I saw how Jasper mentioning that this one doesn't need to be on river, so just for making up for the thing I did before, here we go. I broke the river this time.
You defied the artist's intentions twice. There's no making up that has been done.
You're wrong to make up your right, okay?
Well, okay, this is probably the best solution for area, for cycles area that I could have imagined. Binder, you've blown me away. Good job.
Probably like better than you could have imagined.
Yeah, then I could have imagined before I saw the solutions, but even now seeing them, I'm like, there's nothing this is missing. This is good. This has got the sauce.
Yeah, it doesn't have the triple bonders, it's got the smallest swing for min latency. The only thing that's probably possible to cut down is somehow reducing the arm count.
I don't even know if that's possible.
Or like,
ARM 4 is a relatively small tape.
let's see,
It
what
spends a lot of its time
area
waiting, but it's-
isn't used that... the only thing I could probably save is arm 12 swing space, probably. That could probably be saved, because that's the only thing that isn't, like, used by glyph, arms, or atoms. Yeah, very, very impressive solve.
it's named the smallest as if it knows.
I think Finder was pretty aware that 44 is very, very compact. And it's also the smallest out of the solves he submitted, so yeah, there's that too. But yeah, that is all of our cycle solves. So I'm gonna let this play and I'll be right back, gonna take a small break, so yeah.
Alright. I'll also be back in a bit.
I'm still psyched for TI. That'll be fun.
I was able to get a pretty good save a few days ago, but I still feel like there's too many instructions.
I don't know if you were following in Discord, but I had been working most of today trying to yet again save primary TI, and 10 minutes before the deadline, I posted hell yeah, because I got one. I got a primary save 10 minutes to go. Watch there be like a 3 TI gap between one above where I started and one below where I ended or something. But this is a primary, so it will also impact points. Probably more than 5 places and cycles could impact.
What's my 30, 32, no, that's not how the fraction. 31 divided by 3. Nope.
Alrighty, I'm back.
It's fine. I have 4.84.
How many
Pretty-
points did Mr. Puzzle get?
Well, metric points would 4.84 because that's 31 over 2 times 5.
Yes,
still pretty good.
metric points aren't so punishing because, well, 80 cycles.
Oh, no! What was I doing? Why did I do 30?
He put 3s where he meant 8s.
Put
Forgot to
threes.
close them. Classic kindergartner writing mistake.
4.94 if you round.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
but there's also the fact that you got 20th place.
So, 2.5 points. No, less than
Yeah,
about 7.
7 isn't bad, though.
I lost like 1 point on Pentapig in this just from placements.
Now for the real, like, punishing points.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get creamed by someone with like 9 instructions. Let's do it.
Hopefully I gain a point on Pentapig and TI, because that's where I spent my time, but we'll see.
Didn't someone suggest doing cycles minus 70 for this one?
Oh, probably me. Wait, was it?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was Tweedledee. Tweedledee suggested it to me. But, like, it doesn't quite matter as much because, well, you're probably gonna get quite low of a placement point
Mhm.
if, like, you didn't get mid-cycles. But yeah, let me try to find the first actual, TI solve. Well, T plus I solve. But yeah, so in 30th place, we have, at 149 T plus I, Madmaster. Time to zoom out.
We start out with a higher TI number than the highest cycles number, which was 116.
Also, the name does not fit on the screen.
I love how it just goes off.
It's like a copy paste to rant.
Okay, let's see how. It doesn't even fit here.
Fundamentally couldn't work. I'm sick of trying anymore on this stupid puzzle, so this is just some garbage added onto my first solve. I'm sorry, Madmaster. That's the deranged rambling of someone who was just done.
Madmaster, I'm gonna have to see that full name. Full solution name. It doesn't appear on my page as well because it
Is there
panic
is there no
truncates
way
it.
Do the solution titles not allow for line breaks?
I don't know. I don't know if it actually
You can
reads
probably put it in there.
/N.
I don't think it. Yeah.
If it does, it's gonna overlap with the bottom. I mean, probably like whenever the past solutions list appears, but it also won't because this is the last place that we're showing. Since there's solutions before this that have scored more, but they're just the cycle solves.
Why does this... Yeah, I was going to say, why does this feel like we're going to have a round of, let's see if we can break the solution parser?
Post the entire text of Time Cube off the archive.
Okay, so yeah, that it has broken the solution parser before. That's why we truncate
I
it.
mean, it didn't break it exactly. It just broke the layout.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, it did break the parser as well. That's right. Yeah, I think all the bugs are fixed now, though. Feel free to test it.
Yeah, it happened before because somebody sent in a copy.
Oh, goodness. I guess the hip new thing to break stuff with is B-Movie as of like 6 years ago. But when I was in college, Time Cube was what you pasted in the survey forms that didn't put a character limit.
There's so many more copy pastas nowadays, though.
I think TimeCube is down now, right? Like, the site doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah, you gotta go to the archive to get it. but
So
it's
sad.
such premium rambling. Oh gosh, Minzy points out Time Cube, spelled like the spice, is still up.
Incredible.
Alright, next up, we have at 82 Ti in 29th
Min
place.
plus one.
Top mouse. Couple mouse. Min plus one. Precise. Okay, this is an actual TI solve.
I see an abundance of hex arms. I like.
That's how you do TI, right? Slap a bunch of hex arms down.
Yeah, pretty much. Though that's
Or was
that's
that
probably much more accurate for CI.
I
Was
see,
that some?
I see quite a lot of waste copper, which is surprising. There's a waste chain over there that's dumping copper every few times.
Uh-huh. Right, yeah, it is. So, yeah, about TI on this puzzle. So, I tried to pick something like a concept for TI that did not involve like complicated consumption glyphs such as animismus and quintessence, but was also original. So I looked through the journal and like tried to find some interesting TI solves, and I found Rivari's Wheel, which I found to be actually an interesting TI solve because of the fact that it has to like add Quicksilver to each part of it differently. So that's why I came up with this puzzle, by having a puzzle that you need to apply metals and Quicksilvers to differently.
Hearing that, all I can think is, wow, my solution totally broke your assumptions.
I mean, there's also the fact that I bonded the things together that changed things. Bonded the tin and Quicksilver together that changed things.
True.
Otherwise, the original puzzle where it was separate would have definitely followed that line of thought more.
I'm looking at ARM 11 and ARM 16. I'm just wondering if, just maybe if, ARM 11 could be put on a 2-track and like do the waste chain by itself, but I don't know.
Wait, which was ARM 11?
ARM 11 is dropping the output for iron. Do you mean 14?
Oh yeah, sorry, 14 is the pixels are.
Yeah, what's being discussed in chat is,
No,
I
dropping
think Copper
iron
Mouse
for-
didn't realize there's disposal.
Oh.
Oh, right, yeah, there's disposal. There's also that.
I forgot about that.
Just put a disposal in the bottom left, and it'll always work, or put it in the spot where it's being handed off, and just every time it's handed off, make sure it grabs before disposing.
Yeah. Yeah, that works too. That's, how many TI on ARM 16?
6 from the piston.
That's 6, yeah. Which, doesn't make a difference, but... Well, I mean, it does make a difference on magic points, but, yeah. I mean, yeah, but there's also, like, nothing similar, even with the separate inputs. That
Yeah, I
I
think
found.
you did a good job with this one, making it harder to just find something to copy after some tonic of hydration copies in Film Crystal. This one kind of forced you to start anew and guess at, like, what's a good solve look like? What methods does it use?
Yeah. Murakana says they were stuck for a while because they couldn't plagiarize.
I plagiarized myself from Horn Silver.
Oh yeah, if you remember what harm silver does, it's yeah.
A brick that gets swung at a 60-degree angle over and over.
All right, next up we have at 60 Ti T plus I. This is 60 T plus I. Guilty by standard, just modified cycles.
Oh yeah, Guilty's had the 6 arms and was the one people were talking about. If you won 6T it, is it good?
Wait, this is literally that solution, just... Yeah.
There's a fair bit of challenge because in the cycle solve, the one that rotated the input downwards was only on 3/4 of the time. And in this solve, it has to be waist chained by arm 11.
Oh yeah, so the real reason there's disposal on this puzzle, despite some people using it for cycles for some reason, is TI. Because tin and Quicksilver are bonded together, so sometimes there's an imbalance, especially with TI, and it's just easier to throw it in the disposal.
Why dispose when a waist chain can be your savior?
Not everybody did the same thing as you, Biggie.
I know, I'll stop trying to be about me.
I mean, that solve is amazing, but we'll see. We'll see that in a bit. We'll check out some normal solves. In the meantime, well,
Whatever
quote
normal
unquote
means for
normal.
TI.
The best thing about like not having a leaderboard to copy, not having anything similar in leaderboard to copy from, and also the severe limitations of inputs is the creativity from the solves from everyone. There are lots of creative solves for this puzzle.
I'm just getting thoughts of there was a space chem tournament. I think it was Disaster Recovery. That was really similar to one of the main game's puzzles. And I just looked at Zig's solution for that main game puzzle. I just plagiarized like crazy.
Yeah, that's what happened with PI in week 4.
There's a
I feel
big
like
pile up in the mid-20s of tonic of hydration clones for Film
Ooh.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I feel like as we get more and more tournament puzzles sort of in the pool of puzzles that people are optimizing, like more and more plagiarism will happen, which is, I mean, not a bad thing.
fortunately, though, the TI, first of all, the TI on the leaderboard for tonic of hydration isn't optimal. And also,
Yeah, someone improved it by 2 by doing Film Crystal.
and there's also like Film Crystal specific tech that won at first place. That won Biggie first place. Yeah. Alright, next up we have at 57 T plus I in 27th place. Oh, no, not 51. 51 T plus I at 27th place. B. Smith. I could probably zoom in on this one.
Oh, right. There was a competition that Bist, you were trying to see if people could guess your place in this puzzle, right?
Right, yeah.
Hmm.
Who wants to take a guess?
I'm gonna guess 5th.
7th.
10.
I already
Hey,
know
we
it's
got method. I just saw method happening.
Oh,
It took me a bit.
nice. Yeah, Panic already knows the answer to that.
So I like how this input is half of the time getting rid of its tin so that it can provide 1 iron and 1 quicksilver. Because if you have iron and quicksilver as a starting point, the rest of the puzzle is much more straightforward.
I see people are memeing with the guesses on my placement. Mad Master says Tooth. Murakonda says Ford.
Ford Prefect.
But yeah, this actually looks like a pretty clean TI solve. as well compared to the previous ones we've seen. It's got TI concepts. And pretty clever ones, too.
Yeah, the very first two arms are probably going to persist in some other solutions. I say probably. I know that the copper or the iron bonded to Quicksilver is really useful.
Like, the difficult part about this, though, is, like, getting that extra Quicksilver, which I have no idea where it's getting. Oh, it's getting by disposing of
Yeah, exactly. It's the first two
an
arms
extra
include
iron.
the disposal arm, so the third arm, I guess.
It gets the extra Quicksilver by only disposing of one Quicksilver while disposing of 2 iron. Yeah, that's one way to do it.
I just noticed the Pistons got 2 jobs. Excellent use of excellent recycling
Oh, yeah.
instructions there.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, next up we have, also at 51 Ti, but like this one is actually Ti, is Chickens in the Attic. Now I need to zoom out again. This one actually looks like Ti. Well, I mean, that's a mess of a Ti, but it's a Ti alright, in 26th place, yeah.
Wowsies. This looks like a lot of routing. Who talks to who? Which arms go to where?
I think
I like that the initial Quicksilver is disposed, but it's eventually going to get yoinked away and not disposed.
I like the right-hand side tech to rotate twice with 2 arms like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the item.
That's Warming Tonic, right? Or Courage Potion? I forget which one is the right shape. But there's one that's like the campaign method for.
Right, yeah, it's one of those 2.
Mm-hmm. How did you plan this, Mason? Yeah. I think everything centers around, like, Arm 16 and Arm 11 eventually disposing of things. Like, if you reach Arm 16, you reach Arm 11.
That gives you a lot of leniency on the initial timing, but you still have to make the actual work happen.
Uh-huh. I think the main solve is just on the top, and the bottom is just routing the Quicksilver to get to the right place with arms.
Wait, I'm curious now. What happens if you moved Arm 16, like, down by, like, 2 spaces, and they just got rid of Arm 11 completely?
Arm 11 also takes handoffs from Arm 2.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, Arm 11 is doing several things at once. Arm 16 is unnecessary.
No, Arm 16 is necessary because every output will get you an extra iron on that side.
Yeah, there's also iron disposal. If you can, like, somehow get the iron to there, though, then it won't be unnecessary.
It's hard for me to imagine what a local modification to something this interdependent is, because of just how interdependent
Yeah, TI is just interdependent on everything. Especially, like, locally optimized TI. You can't, like, change things without, like, changing everything else.
Like a complicated pocket watch.
Uh-huh.
Be like, yeah, we don't need this cog in here, patoing.
Alright, next up we have in 25th place at 47 Ti, Buttermilk Donut. That's weird. What? Sometimes the solution parser does that, I don't know why. This one's a lot more compact.
Ooh. Pistons.
Looks like Method to me with the bond replacement.
Hmm.
Yep, that's Method, alright.
That's some complicated logic to decide when to, like, how that piston pushes up and down and then it grabs it the second time. Oh, I see. It's the same instructions. It's just the... Which arm is that? Arm 10 is what I'm looking at.
Arm 10. Oh,
The piston that double pumps.
Yeah, yeah.
huh. What is it double pumping for?
It's moving the reactive iron out of the way of arm 1, so it doesn't get grabbed.
Ah,
Yeah, arms 4 and 5 seem to do a lot of like selective suppressing of the input, I guess, to kind of, I think, like balance everything else out or something.
uh-huh.
Because it controls like when and where the inputs go.
Yeah. Interesting. Alright, next up we have at 46 Ti in 24th place, Tilaire. Because Ti is hard. This looks like a solve that was done on one screen without zoom mod. Because it fits perfectly. Though it is slightly zoomed out.
This reminds me a little bit of Tulaire's full throughput solve for week 6, in that there's just 6 arms that need a lot of timing coordinated.
Mm-hmm.
I like that the 2 arms that are holding onto the centers of an output are doing so with a single pivot. It looks real good. But man, does this look like a challenge to get timed.
Challenge to get what?
Just to get everything timed.
Oh, yeah.
How everything meets up at the right time and place.
Meanwhile, your solve doesn't really need to do that. But yeah, most TI solves are just, like, complicated timing. I wonder if it's comparable to timing Waldos in, Space Cam.
The one thing about timing Waldos, at least when they're in low symbols solutions, is that they kind of rely on the fact that you can take different tape loops.
Oh
no, I talked about timing Waldos and Brookies here.
Oh no.
Is Brookies a cycles optimizer or a symbols optimizer?
Brookie's the like 3,000 hour Space Cam player. I'm not sure which optimizing is more important.
Definitely more of a cycles optimizer.
Or is Brookie a reactor optimizer?
Oh, okay, I've got a little bit of that in me as well. But I got min cycles for mean sheets ascension, and I got that one what is it, more than machine in one reactor, which was fun, as well as scientific binary. But anyway, yeah, timing Waldos and Space Chem are kind of a nightmare because
yeah, I tried. I failed.
Yeah, because it's your instructional tape loops of like every arm can be like different. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. And it becomes a problem of like least
LCM, GCD, that kind of thing. Oh.
When I hear timing Waldos, I think of pseudo dudes 95 plus whatever. That just
the 95
it's
plus
the most
like
impressive
20.
Number theory problem I've ever seen baked into Space Chem solutions.
Yes.
Over here you get pretty numbers like 2 and 3 and 6.
95, 34? Do you want these numbers to be what you're thinking about when you say that?
No. I will say though, your Rule 110 Space Chem solve with the timing Waldo was actually really cool to watch. That was
60 versus 61. I was rewatching that trying to figure out Rule 110 videos.
But anyways,
sorry, you're listening to two Space Chem nerds rant about Space Chem.
It's fine. But we probably do have to move on though, because got quite a few solves ahead of us, and TI solves are taking quite a while longer to analyze. So yeah, 43 TI in 23rd place, we have Britboy. Down on your knees. I wonder what that's a reference to. Oh, arm 1. There's a lot of instructions.
Whoa.
Oh.
This is the BIST cabinet instructions approach, where one arm carries all the instructions. That was you, right?
Yeah, that was me, except like mine was even crazier than this. It's conceptually different because this one is doing one thing, but it has a lot of instructions. Mine was like doing several things and
It was
just
doing all
dancing
of the
on the
remaining things.
track loop. Actually, it was doing the same thing, but from a different offset point every single time. That's what's...
Honestly, the algorithm here is incredible. The fact that the single Quicksilver is passed back around so that it can be reused for the iron center, like, this is a really cool use of the input. I'm impressed by this solution. Well done, Brickboy.
Yeah, cool uses of input sync will be a theme for this puzzle in TI.
Oh yeah, and the way it suppresses it so that it gets grabbed again. That's really cool.
Alright, next up we have, in 22nd place at 43 Ti, we have Goodbye Galaxy. A bit unfortunate.
Yeah, that's another top 10 name who's going to take some chunk of points out this week. 43 Genius 43, good name.
Unfortunately, 42 Genius 42 did
Genius
not
didn't
submit.
submit this week. Yeah, he was taking a break.
Yeah, TI hard. Though, I can't exactly say, but because I'm actually pretty good at TI, comparatively.
TI, massive time sink, regardless of whether you're good at it, I think.
I
As
poked
soon as you
out...
start caring
Yeah,
about it, it's going to take up all your time.
Okay, so, I'm gonna review it right now. I have a 20-something solve. That was my first solve that I did last day.
Sub 30?
Sub 30. I have a sub 30 solve that I did last day.
Cool.
The night
cool.
before. Because Panic and I changed the puzzle to bonded Quicksilver and Tin the last day, and I had to playtest that as well.
So it didn't take up that much of your time to get sub 30. That's awesome.
Yes.
It took up a lot of my time to get somewhere.
Mr. Puzzle, you could say that in the voice chat.
Oh no.
But I might just be, like, good at TI, so...
Well, I thought I was good at TI too, but maybe it's just for certain puzzles. I mean, I think that IG record fine for Rivari's. That looks very.
Yeah, it seems like with the way TI works, it's like this bag of weird tricks, and you might know some of them, you might not know others of them.
And sometimes
And I
it's
think
luck.
it's also, and some
Yeah.
puzzles are easier to TI on. There's like Rivari's wheel, beautiful for TI.
Also-
It's got so much symmetry.
About this puzzle,
Mhm.
though, I love the disposal conditional. About the saw.
Yeah, Arm 8 doesn't begin yet, and so it lets the first 4 Quicksilver get disposed, and then the purification catches up.
Like, let's start from the beginning again. Is this, delayed? Oh, yeah, this is.
Yeah, Galaxy had said something in chat about 4 Quicksilvers are disposed and then no more.
Oh, this isn't a delayed start on the other, like, in the other output, because that's another thing you can do. You can just
Oh,
delay
yeah.
arms way,
Yep.
way further. That's another TI tech. It's...
I remember Shadow Cluster on the cost plus instructions, some weird thing that I put in week 3 of my tournament, had the coolest use of delay I had ever seen, where it took 2 Moors to make a segment, but he was only making 1 Moors per tape loop, but the assembly didn't start until 6 tape loops had all gone by so that there was a Moors buffer.
Yeah, it reminds me of the what is it? A Welcome to House Colvan
Welcome to
instruction
House Colin
solves.
TI is just funny.
Right, there's
Yeah,
an amazing delay on that one too.
grab drop arm.
Alright, next up we have at 42 TI T plus I 252. We have a lot of like well scoring players in cycles that are on the bottom half for TI. This looks like Method.
It looks like it's 112 T as well, because that 4-track with an arm on it won't get back to its starting position until 12 tape loops.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess 1/12 T is essential to be able to get exactly 1 copper and have the rest stay as iron.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's how it like only makes one copper.
Well, hold up a second, because there's iron waste in the waste chain too, though, right?
Yeah, because if there's both a metal and a quicksilver, then it'll get projected.
Yeah.
But if they're bonded together, because it's grabbing off of the input, then it'll just add the bonded things to the waste chain. That waste chain is very agnostic, and it works really well.
I think the wasting has to make sure that the iron isn't suppressing the input.
Figure out why arm 9 needs to be a 2-arm and why it can't just do a 3-arm.
No idea. Oh, there's sometimes also just tin. Sometimes there's only tin, sometimes there's only iron, and sometimes there's the full input grab. But yeah, I think the purpose is mostly to get iron out, get like excess stuff that isn't grabbed away out of the way, so that you can grab a full input.
Yeah, or else it'll grab the waste chain again. That's the problem.
Yeah, it has, or else it just grabs a waste again, which I've run into in my solve. Oh, we've screwed by Galaxy say they didn't score one for cycles either. Yeah, this isn't as good as a week for Goodbye Galaxy, unfortunately. Alright, Morakonda, speaking of not bottom third, we have Morakonda in 20th place at 39 Ti.
Yeah, TI is definitely one of the metrics I haven't done too much in. I think the most TI-like solves I've ever made were in Codex.
Was instructions a metric in Codex?
I don't think so. I think it was like only cycles or something. But the issue with Codex was just the tape loops were so restrictive.
Interesting that this is a projection-only solve.
Oh, wait a minute, yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's dropping a bunch of metal on the disposal glyphs, but arms 2 and 7 are both lined up to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just conditional on whether there's something to yoink them. Marcondo was mentioning when watching Tular's solve that there's a better way to do the copper output assembly that would save... Or maybe it was both output assembly that would save 4 instructions. Arm 12 is a geometry is hard, and Arm 11 would have been able to output if not for that. Oh, I see. It rotates and pivots, and then when it pivots, there's no space for that output. Although there wasn't space before the rotate either.
Yeah.
Arm 12 is a geometry sad.
I had a geometry sad arm. It feels bad.
I also have one. I was so close to reducing myself by 3i, except there's just one small issue.
I said I had a geometry sad arm.
We'll check out what Biggie actually has and why that why geometry doesn't matter as much. Alright, next up we have, well, as how Jasper predicted themselves, how Jasper in 19th place at 38 Ti. Pistons are only pivots, right? Picking
Oh,
up on
right, there's no
Steven.
cost quaternary, like cost doesn't factor in at all.
Yeah,
So you can use expensive options. You
you
can do
can
premium
tile the
TI.
entire area with calcifiers.
I didn't have time because I finished my final improvement with 10 minutes to spare.
Biggie, you also
But
can't tile your entire area with calcifiers.
I can. You
Well,
can't
it's
stop me from putting
tedious.
2,000 calcifiers.
Oh no. Oh no.
As for this actual solve, though, it looks like I don't know why the pivot arm 10 can't be doing. Oh wait, this is a 1/40. That's why it's doing 2 pivots per output. I was thinking it could do 1, but it's actually receiving the metals too quickly for that. So it's the 1/40. And ARM 11 is pretty great too because it delivers output and also handles all the excess iron.
Yeah. That's convenient. Putting some
The
Steven power in
Quicksilver saving of ARM 9 is really cool.
Let's see, where's ARM 9? Where's ARM 9? Oh, there
It's
it
under
is.
ARM 11.
That's under
Yeah.
ARM 11.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the disposal yoinker.
Mhm. Disposal means more clever and conventional. I'm glad I included it. But yeah, next up we have at 36 Ti in 18th place, Catspin. No waste chain. Wait a minute. Let me actually rotate it so it can fit on screen. Yeah. Huh. Interesting how the excess iron isn't, like, thrown away, but it's passed, like, back into the pipeline?
And then it
Oh,
becomes
because
the
ARM
copper.
2 then just carries it onwards and it purifies. Oh, that's such cool iron accounting. Oh, this is really pretty.
Yeah. Very clever solve for Catspin.
The iron has to do a big ol' loop, but as soon as it does its big ol' loop, exactly one pair of them is available to become the copper.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is cool. So I imagine if we started it over, there's a big delayed start on the left. I was watching the right, so I didn't even notice. But
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a delayed start, does it? Oh wait, it does,
I mean,
because there's no
it
waste on
does
that
because
side.
the iron has to make the whole loop around ARM 3 before it even touches the purifier.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else to do with the Quicksilver over there.
Mm-hmm. Right, because it
Like
creates
those
extra
two
Quicksilver.
rejects from ARM 3 are the ones that become the copper. And it takes until it's available for the copper to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes TI just works out like that. I mean, there's also disposal making things look more clean. Alrighty.
And every time you say the word TI, I always think Texas Instruments.
TI 35 calculators, because 35 instructions is next. In 17th place, we have 35-inch TI Fiesta. Not a wizard, but maybe a wizard's secretary? I wonder who's
Oh,
gonna
is
be
this a
the
very
Real
fast?
Cycles wizard this
Oh,
time.
wizard's
TI
secretary.
wizard this time. Okay, so the 100-degree rotating TI tech on the copper.
Is this input suppressing? Oh no, it just has a. I was like, you can't really input suppress the Quicksilver, but that's because there's a disposal arm, which is helping there be a hole where there needs to be a hole.
This one feels similar in concept to myself. But like I just did it more cleanly. Yeah, it's
think
very
I
similar in concept to myself.
The Quicksilver being passed over to the iron output is going to take quite a few instructions. I see like 4 arms there.
Yeah, I think arm 3 could be placed 180 degrees from where it is right now, and then there's that one arm that just does the output, which I don't think which might not be necessary.
Oh, right, because then arm 2 would be available to just push
Yes.
up. Actually, that might not be true. I don't think there's a grab point on it. And then the Quicksilver would come in and crash in. I think there's enough issues with the assembly on the iron side that it's not a quick fix like that away.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a pretty clean algorithm though, because I made a pretty clean solve using it.
I'm just wondering about arm counts. Because in a lot of these, it's like, oh, I have another problem. To keep the same key I've been using, I have to add an arm, and so I'm going to add another grab and another drop, and then whatever it's doing in between them.
Right.
It all adds up real fast. Keeping the arm count low is actually very important to TI.
Yeah, grab points and arm count. It's a lot.
Paxton is saying why this is a lot more TI. Probably the iron side. The iron side is using a lot of instructions.
Yeah. It's got arms 3, 4, 2, and I'm guessing 5 because it's permanently covered.
Alrighty, next up we have in 15th place at 34 TI, Gecko. Yet another TI idea. Now with secondary and tertiary optimization and an entire redesign to save one eye. That is a long solution name. Good thing it fits on the screen.
It indicates people spent a lot of time thinking about TI this week.
Yeah. Yeah, TI was more of the main metric, to be honest.
It's also because when people are thinking about, okay, what's going to make me gain or lose a lot of points? It's TI. Like,
Yeah.
You will gain and lose your points in TI, because this is a lot more demanding.
Okay, so it's doing the copper first.
Yeah, ARM 10 is still delaying, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no iron yet.
Yep.
There's no iron outfits being built yet. That's a thing you can do.
When ARM 10 turns on,
You'll be making only iron outfits instead.
also, Username Void asks what happened to 16th place, and I'm inclined to agree with that question. This isn't a tie for 15th.
Wait a minute. Did I? Oh, God. Okay, I skipped 16th place. We'll go back to that in a bit. I already pressed F9, but I forgot I did that. Whoopsies. Yeah, it's Cavalier.
Oh, this one's finally starting up. It's ARM 10 is Nope, ARM 10 is still not moving. What
It's gotta
changed?
fill up
Okay, now it is.
the 6 buffer of 6 Quicksilvers on the centers first.
Okay, now it is. But what changed to make it stop at... Oh, wait, it just was sending Quicksilver, so that's how it changed. This has 3 phases. It's a very interesting concept.
it's also taking so many cycles.
Yeah, 984 cycles is not fast. But if you're an instruction faster, that secondary doesn't matter.
Uh-huh.
This sounds like it would have been a nightmare to program, though, because you have to go
Oh,
all the way
right,
out
you have to
like,
drag it out
cycle
900
of
of those cycles. This is
590 to
probably
get your
better with
first.
Phi Edit.
And
And
if
good
you
luck changing
place
your loop
tape
length.
the wrong side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good luck changing the loop length. Oof. Okay, so we're going to go back to the solve that I missed in 16th place at 35 Ti and 200... That's 4 cycles faster than 17th place. 17th place is 240 cycles, 16th place is 236 cycles, both at the same instruction count. I have Cavalier. It works. It sure does.
Ooh, there was a last day cycles optimization to make it even faster, and that's what caused it to be under 240.
Ooh.
Cycle optimizations are pretty neat in TI. Basically, it means shortening the loop.
Is this a quarter T? I think I see the quarter T algorithm, and it makes a lot of sense. Hello Jasper was like talking about how it might be a hard to spot algorithm, but it makes a lot of sense in context. You take 4 inputs and you make a copper input out of purification, and you have 1 spare quicksilver that now is the center of an iron input, but all the iron that you make in the process just gets disposed. Although, look at ARM 8. Never drops.
It's a
There's-
no-drop arm.
Arms that don't drop was one of the things I was looking at to try to save some TI from the primary. Arms that don't drop are very funny tech.
Yeah. It's basically just single-use disposal.
Or wands.
Yeah, true. Well, here it's a single-use disposal. Yeah. Next up, we're back on track in 14th place at 34 Ti. So same as Gecko, but 700 cycles instead.
Still very slow, but Gecko's was exceptionally slow, so.
Yeah. So method. That's a long-ass tape loop. Let me speed this up. Did cheat engine just crash? Cheat engine just
there's
crashed.
Oh, but the game's still running, right?
Yeah, cheat engine
Yeah.
crashed.
Oh wow, look at that.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I kind
the
of missed what
breaking,
happened. That looked really cool.
the breaking apart from 4 iron and quicksilver into the method stick. Actually, it's 5. Oh, of course, because it has to do another projection as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we should tab through those like 3 important cycles.
Did I miss the 3 important cycles?
Yeah, those are the ones when the stuff actually moves to the output.
Okay, I'll do that again. I'll just wait for it again.
Should be when there's 5 iron
Okay.
in the chain.
There we go. There we go.
That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
It turns an entire, like a wavy stick into method output. And then outputs.
Yeah, as soon as you can get iron next to quicksilver, there's a very good chance that method is your best finishing move.
Mm-hmm. And also there's this iron waste up top. Alright, next up in 33 Ti, we have Evanov, also using method with the solve called Method Mania.
Just think, this tournament will be responsible for every combination of 8 atoms in that shape to be called method for the foreseeable future.
It's not even the same shape.
True. The others had another little handle on them.
So arm 2 is a one-use arm. Okay, this is pretty interesting.
I like how arm 2 is just like gently touching each atom as it goes by.
Each Quicksilver gets a custom squeeze made by love.
Pat.
Sometimes the tin comes through as well.
Oh,
I'm trying
wait,
to figure
that
out
is
where the
interesting.
conditional is there.
That tin just stays there forever.
Does that tin exist just to prevent... Oh, it prevents a purification or a projection in place of where the other iron becomes copper.
Also, wait, yeah, this is no purification either.
Yeah, so there's... A copper is made half as often as it might be because one of the Quicksilvers is supplanted by tin.
Also, so
That's
that's
Arm 2's
what Arm
purpose.
2 does.
That's
yeah.
brilliant. I love it. There's so much creativity in TI. This is one of my favorite results videos so far.
Yeah, that's the magic of TI. Like, actually, TI that you can't just copy.
I was gonna say that the shape that you guys are saying method shape, it was reminding me of general anesthetic, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's not right. It's not right because
People are
that
gonna
has
call
like
general
a.
anesthetic method now as well.
But it's got like one more thing because it's like 2 hex rings stuck together plus like 2 offshoots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the whole point is that it's just the combination of 120-degree bonds that you break into the multiple outputs.
It's basically just the double, like, bonding two of the outputs together and then taking them apart.
Alpha build life sensing.
There was a life-sensing potion that looked like that?
Yep. Alpha build life sensing potion had a salt hex ring, and then the animismus atoms tacked on the end.
Huh.
Oh.
Okay, next up we have in 12th place at also 33 Ti, but 346 cycles, so slightly faster. Username White. Oh, that is small.
Ooh.
This is also very similar to my method, except much more compact.
Yeah, the beginning with a 6-arm that basically turns it into a 6-arm holding Quicksilver and a 6-arm holding tin.
But one of the Quicksilver actually goes... Oh, it's disposed of. Okay. Arm 9 disposes of the extra Quicksilver. So that there's still a continuous stream of tin. Yeah, that's also another problem I ran into. Usually voice said they had more fun with cycles, so this is their first layout. Yeah.
And they were 4th place cycles, so well earned.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy to me that the min cycles got you, what was it, 19th? And in TI, we're still far from it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is TI though, so there
It's just
probably
so much
won't
more
be
brutal as a metric.
that many pileups. But yeah, next up we have in 11th place at 32 Ti. POD. Calcifiers, you say?
Oh, do we have our first cost maximizer?
I don't think this is like that. No, this isn't cost maximizing, but it's sure got a lot of calcifiers.
Aesthetics maximizing.
This sent me a message at one point. You can use calcifiers, by the way. Just thinking, with my area count, that's a terrible suggestion.
I just slap down track and use up less park.
Just flex on people and win with, like, still win even with several track.
Alexa.
I'm trying to figure out. So it's using 5 Quicksilver and disposing of one of them using Arm 5.
Yeah, that's
I'm trying to figure out.
purifying and then purifying tin to iron only, like iron only from purification and copper only from purification, and disposing one Quicksilver is my method. So that's gonna appear quite a bit. Equilibrium looks better than calcifier. Yeah, it does, but the meme though. Calcifiers cost money. Though to be fair, 500 cost is a lot. At least it doesn't feel
In
like a
terms of
lot.
cost per footprint, calcifier and duplication and projection, I think, are all maximal if you can't use a piston.
Mm-hmm. Alright, you can tile the space with other glyphs as well. I didn't notice.
Oh yeah, when I did send you a partially tiled thing, it was just a random assortment of like multi-bonders, purification, projection, calcifier.
Uh-huh.
But I only took it to like a tenth of the total space.
Yeah, because you have swing space. Alrighty, next up in top 10 now, we have Nuashar at 31 Ti. Congratulations on getting top 10.
Ooh.
So, also we can start doing predictions for top 3 now.
Me and Pentapig, and then I don't know.
Oh, Top 3 predictions. Oh, this is hard. This is very hard.
Mhm.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Mr. Puzzle, how confident do you feel?
Lamau, no. Unless 2 people are sub 30, that's not happening.
No, yeah, I've both revealed that I'm not on the podium and that I'm sub 30, so yeah, it's not possible.
If Fiondir gets a good, like if this is a Fiondir week, that'd be really cool. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Fiondir, Pentapig, and me in that order for top 3.
In, like, first to third?
With
Or
me
third
at
to
first.
Okay,
With me at first, third to first.
okay.
I'm going to guess... Oh, this is hard. This is so hard. Yeah, no, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Also, the stuff that's happening now is basically just the same algorithm, but like better arm layouts.
Yeah, it's got a purifier for the tin, and then it's handling the leftover iron and the leftover Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm.
That method gives you a Quicksilver excess.
Yeah. But just the
You're
dispose
trying
of the
to
Quicksilver
include disposal.
excess. Oh, this is creating quite a lot more Quicksilver excess, actually.
Actually, yeah, it's only making the iron output for the rest of time. There
Oh,
must be
wait a
delayed
minute.
start.
we were talking about top 10 and we didn't even notice that it started making the copper output first.
Yeah, I think it's making 6 copper outputs and then stops. It's iron for the rest of the time. The arm that's delayed is at least arm 8. Maybe arm 8 and arm 9. Yeah, I think arms 8 and 9 are delayed because those would be the ones that provide the iron in place to start collecting onto an output. There we go. This is a delayed start method. It's a different algorithm. This. And I like that the conditionals of you don't even need to have a specific 1/t to move the copper output from the bonder to the output glyph when it is complete. Because it's just at that point, there's an atom already where you would be bonding.
Mm-hmm.
Why does arm 9 swing up? I think it's to avoid arm 8 re-grabbing the... Yeah, it's to prevent the arm 8 from re-grabbing the quicksilver.
Mm-hmm. Delayed arms are very powerful.
Yeah, this seems to take some inspiration from fragrant powders and other delayed arms ones. Of like, okay, the same machinery will change what it's making when you start on this arm.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, next up in 9th place we have a 30 Ti. Silicane.
Wow, we're getting to 30 already?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a little surprised
the
at how
previous one
many
was
people got
31.
below
Okay, so
30.
method, looks like. Is it? Yeah, method. Except all the projection happens last.
Oh my gosh, I like that there's the quicksilver disposal, basically, on a projection glyph that's going to dispose the metal.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that works.
That's a disposal-esque construction that's really smart.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Also,
Just a quicksilver absorber.
projecting last is very clever.
It gives you exactly 6 tape loops before arm 7 comes in and starts to need things to be moved.
Uh-huh. That's a pretty clever output conditional on the iron as well. Since it's only going to output when all the atoms are projected correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Very clever. And next up we have in 8th place, at 304 cycles, we have Mr. Puzzle.
Hey!
Congratulations on getting 8th place.
My extra machinery saved the cycles. Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
Is this max cost?
Yep. I used my helpful color coding area addition to Fitzigu to be like, oh, okay, we can place arms here, and then these have to be glyphs.
Of course, they have to be projection gifts to make it extra confusing.
Projection is the same as calcifier.
But any of these projection glyphs could be used.
Yeah. So whenever
No
there's
idea.
someplace that might accidentally use the projection, you use a calcifier instead. But those don't exist, and the calcifiers are only there to fill in spaces that have one calcifier have one space.
What's the gold cost on a projection glyph?
20.
20 on 2 hexes.
Okay, so this is hard to
Yeah.
read. So
Feel free to
I'm gonna-
open up. If you've got my other save, bring
I
that up.
do.
It's literally the same, but it's not dumb.
yeah, this is easier to read.
I noticed it's called inphase.xm, but it's not dropping them on the same cycle. It's one cycle offset, right?
No, the outputs drop at the same time.
Oh, I must have been confused by the overwhelming amount of machinery and missaw.
Quite understandable.
The iron product
It's-
is ready a cycle earlier, though. But they drop
Oh,
at
I
the
was
same
looking
time.
for what cycle they swing to the output glyph, but not to which cycle they actually drop.
I like ARM5.
Too much visual noise.
I like ARM5 a lot. It's pivoting once and rotating once per loop.
The quicksilver that gets disposed also goes on a fun journey.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like it's dangled above the disposal once before eventually meeting its fate the next time around.
Do a loop-de-loop. It's like the bender calling out to the jumper, do a flip.
Alrighty, next up we have our first sub 30 solve in 7th place at 28, or skipping 29, 100k.
Yeah, I'm surprised by how many sub 30 solves there are.
Alright, so same algorithm I've been talking about that I'm using.
Bist method and no delayed
Bist
arms this time. We're not missing something. I like that it's bonding on 3 different bonders.
Whoa, ARM6 does a cool swing the 10 over the input glyph.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
Lands in that little special pocket.
You know where Cortelli should have been? Right there.
I was just thinking that.
You literally moved the solution.
No,
The Cortelli
no.
was in the same place.
I moved the solution relative to the Cortelli.
You
Cortelli is
could-
in the exact same spot relatively.
Oh,
I watched her measuring, like, okay, the Cortelli might have a purpose. I want to keep it here. But no, there's an obvious good Cortelli spot. Goodbye, Galaxy be damned. So, Bist, you would say that this is kind of like the intended solution
Yeah, pretty much.
to purify and then dispose of excess quicksilver on the disposal glyph?
I mean, that's my solution, but the intention was, like, use whatever you want. The intention was to bring out as much creativity as possible, but this is my this is my method. Yeah, congratulations to Neutron for getting 10th, Nova Game for getting 9th, Mr. Puzzle for getting 8th, and Andre K for getting 7th. Whoopsies. Next up, we have, in also 28, trackless instructions, at 202 cycles, Hexton.
oh, that's quite a bit faster.
Here we go again. Same thing.
That's a short tape.
Oh yeah, this method is using this method, this algorithm, you get to have very short tape loops. These are getting increasingly similar to my solve.
I do like how it uses the same input for the centers of both outputs.
8 could be a triple arm, could it not?
8. Wait, where is arm?
I mean,
No, I don't think it can because I did the same thing.
I don't think you'd save instructions.
Can it? Well, we can try.
It has the wrong parity at the wrong time.
It'll move it onto the.
Yeah, it does that. That's the reason you can't do it. I tried it for my solution as well because my solution had something identical. So as of now, it actually saves. Yeah, it saves cost and area. Not that cost matters, but it saves area.
Disregard area. As a fraction of the total space available to you in the game, these are all 0.
Alright, next up we have in 5th place at 27 Ti and 789 cycles, Rolomni.
Was this another 1 day of effort sort of thing?
Oh.
What? Oh no! What are all
Where's
these
the
deep
solve?
bounders?
Oh, there's the solve.
Cursed. Cursed.
5,510 area, a man after my heart.
What is this?
Rolomni, you and I, we've got this.
You could have won max cost. Come on.
Man, imagine having to step through one of Steven's solutions without Zoom mod.
Oh yeah, Rolomni was like complaining about having to delay arm 2, like delaying that arm right there and these arms right here.
Yeah, no, these are not fun to build, but this is an approach that I like. Remember Rolomni's solve for the cost plus instructions sum that was like 1/24t and it made 4 copies of the output, but one of them didn't. Only one of them had the right amount of mores. Like, it was this huge diagonal sheet to make horizontal infinite.
Yeah.
This is the kind of creativity that I am happy to see.
Alright, whenever that arm gets grabbed, I'm gonna start tapping through.
I do wish you could alt-click on a glyph and fast forward to the next time that glyph activates. That's like my most wanted, finally this setup is getting close to usable mod.
Yes.
Furious scribbling.
Yeah, right?
Okay. So, deep on there.
That-
Deep on there. And then it starts outputting. I'll probably tap through this.
Oh.
Is this method? Yeah, it's like method-esque. It's got Welcome to House Colvin method out.
I
love
can
it.
zoom out on here now. It's also very laggy. And it does everything just once. And it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, this is very, what is it? This is very reminiscent of... What was the solution? It was, I think it was JoJo's solution to A Welcome to House Colvan. Where he used like a single hex arm to like extract the gold and simultaneously
Build
a giant waste stick.
Yeah, I think that's still the record. I think
Was that TI?
I think it's TIG or TIC.
Yeah, there's something.
It's definitely not TIA, that's for sure. But yeah, that's this solve. Amazing solve by Rolomni at 5,000
Rolomni,
area.
you're awesome. I'm glad that even if you didn't really put a ton of time into this tournament at the end, this solve came out of it.
Mm-hmm. Alright, at 4th place we have at 27 Ti and 276 cycles. So apparently that one Ti that one instruction save I made didn't matter, but we have at 27 Ti 276 cycles, not great, in 4th place. Congratulations!
That's a good placement.
Well,
Well
that's
done.
compact. That is compact. I think it hit like that, yeah. So we're back to using the algorithm I described. You know what, just back to your normal TI solves.
Momentarily.
Momentarily.
Oh, but it's really cool to see this done in a fewer arm than what was in the other solves.
Uh-huh.
It might be the fact that Quicksilver gets from where it is to the bonder in a single piston with 5 instructions. Arm 3, I think, is the arm saved compared to the last time we saw this algorithm.
Yeah. Biggie's prediction is correct, ignoring order so far. Yeah.
Pentapig and me, but who's the other? I miss because it's not Find Ear. Oh, it is Find Ear.
Yeah, it is Find Ear.
Is it? Oh, okay. Then my prediction is correct. I have to assume the order is correct too. I hate to, like, unless Pentapig's holding something equally amazing. Like, I think myself is gonna win.
Find Ear coming in with a smash. Just you wait.
Double win from Find Ear, maybe?
Find Ear said no when I suggested he might get a double win, and that suggests his solve wasn't that far ahead of the numbers that are already on screen.
Well, I know that Biggie called me a man of little faith for doubting that he could do dick butt with the ELU solver. So I think maybe I'll put some faith into him this time.
Alright, next up we have in would-be 4th place my solve in 26 Ti. My initial solve was 29 Ti. Panic suggested a 2 Ti save. I did that, but then ignored the 2 Ti save and then made a 26 instead. So, yeah. Here we go.
This is in 4th.
I playtest my puzzles sometimes. So this is just a clean version of the method I was describing. There's an even cleaner version. Find Ear did that.
Yeah, Find Ear had a really good TI Horn Silver as well. Put my brick to shame with a just clean, regular solve.
So Arm 8 is very unfortunate.
The pivot that is 1 away from being the right amount of pivoting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you, like, a way to remove 2 instructions from this solve. But it just doesn't work because of an accidental grab. So this is my solve. This is I'm gonna have to figure out where that goes. That. But it grabs a 10.
Oh, you can make an output and then you fail. Oh.
Very, very close.
I have one that's 2 Ti better than myself that makes a single output of the copper, but then has something that causes it to fail the second time around. That was my, like, Pareto of outputs made.
Also, yeah, Finder kicked me off the podium. So, yeah, it outputs, but, like, yeah. So I resorted to a 26 Ti instead of this would be a 24 Ti.
So I was ahead of you even by the time I made a method solve.
Yeah, you were ahead. But, like, this, if this worked and didn't grab the 10, I would be at, would be 2nd place. Which,
That tells me all I need to know. I have a blowout win.
yes. So, yeah, so let me just play the original solve I had as well again. So, yeah, this is just the method I've been describing this whole time. Except, instead of, like, having a different, like, entirely different pipeline for the copper, it just kind of passes through the ARM2, path for ARM2, picking stuff up along the way. There's also this thing over here where ARM3 grabs the Quicksilver off, so that it actually has a time to output the output. I thought that was neat. Otherwise, it'll crash into the Quicksilver that's coming up. But yeah, I tried so many variations of trying to get what I showed work by having ARM 7 and ARM 6 in slightly different positions, but didn't get it to work, unfortunately. This is also very fast, it's 198 cycles.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, if you did get this down to 24, it would be faster than my method solve, which was a 24.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I crushed the method solve.
Yeah, next up we have in third place at 25 Ti. Congratulations to Pioneer. Giving up improves primary. So this is very similar, but just better. It uses the same purification algorithm.
Exact same iron output builder. But the copper is made into an output from the outside of the 6 arm, which changes grab locations. ARM 5 doesn't have any other grabs to worry about. Pioneer started at 26, gave up and just started working on tertiary and saved an instruction that way.
Yeah, that just happens. I guess it makes sense because once you're rearranging the arms, you might just stumble on a layout where you just get to use less instructions. But yeah, congratulations to Pioneer for getting third place. This is a good week for Pioneer.
Congrats.
Indeed.
But yeah, next up we have in second place at 24 Ti and 296 cycles, we have Pentapig. Method is back.
Is this method? Yeah. I see the bonders and the equilibrium glyph.
Should have been calcifiers. Okay, I love ARM 7. ARM 7 is super clever in this solve. It does so many things.
It is. Oh, that's a great combination of rotates to get the method of assembly.
Yeah.
My problem with my method solve is that I had a piston in it that did a 4 instruction tape loop, and that just felt too costly given how efficient everything else was.
ARM 7 is what separates Pentapig from other method solves.
I mean, that said, my method was also 24.
True.
ARM 5 making it so that there is exactly one double
because there's
project.
an extra.
That's good offsetting. That's a little bit more subtle than the offsetting I've used. That it works well because then you can use the disposal instead of a waste chain like mine.
Yeah.
Pentapigs gets to stay in a 337 area.
130. Yeah. Because, well, coming up.
Also,
And-
congrats to Pentapig on being the only person to get more than 4 metric points.
Oh no!
Oh, it's a
Coming
repeat
up,
of
we
last
have
year's week
in first
9.
place Biggie Mac at 20 Ti. There's nothing after the 20, just 20.
It's a big boy. Has only 5 arms, though.
Rude.
Should we watch up here? What does it do up here? I'll check that out.
Up is not really important. It's just basically more glyphs to save some cycles on the bottom. I think everything I could have done in one row at the bottom, it would just be a wider solution and take more cycles. But yeah, this arm 1 and it's arm 2, I mean. This arm 2 is so powerful tech. If you have a 2-atom input, you can strip off one of the atoms and use it while making a waste chain that serves as a conveyor belt for everything else.
Biggie
And when you have a
discovered this
conveyor
in...
belt... Oh, it's unfortunate. Is this lagging on your end, or are we just going to have to see it in the
chugging.
video?
It's just lagging on my end.
Rip. I can show the GIF in the Discord. But yeah, I basically make a brick that is 3 instructions away from dropping an iron output, and what was previously 6 instructions, and I got down to 5 instructions from a copper output.
Yeah, Biggie came across this tech in week 4 because he also had reactive air.
I came across this tech in Horn Silver, to be fair.
Oh, right, yeah.
I've made this conveyor belt before.
Guilty bystander just replied to I was making random predictions about this puzzle without even having seen the puzzle, and I was like, I predict min metric to be 10. Or no, I think it was 40 first, and then someone said, "Oh yeah, that's too high," and then I predicted 20.
When you predicted 20, there wasn't a 20 Ti solve.
I was like, I wanted to talk about my solve before I went into Discord, and Ping replied that, but Guilty beat me to it. Yeah,
I
5
can't
arms,
believe that actually
20
was
instructions.
accurate.
So, ARM 5 used to be contributing to a method brick. And then I determined that I could just stick them back on the conveyor belt and I would get natural, like, X3ing. Because the first one would stick to the conveyor belt and then the other 2 would stick to the first one. Which meant that now I had enough material per 6 tape loops to make both outputs. And one of them, the iron, is pretty easy to just make using a single pivot. The other one was the big pain in the ass here. Initially, I had the projection happen on the same projector way to the left that was helping tin go to iron. But then I found a way to make that projection happen using ARM 5, which is doing waste handling, output disposal, and projection.
Yeah, ARM 5
Conveyor
is
belts
doing a
make it
lot.
so possible. I missed what you had just said, Bist.
Oh, I said ARM 5 is doing a lot, yeah.
I'll post a GIF in the Discord so people can watch a little bit more smoothly, because as soon as there's anything happening at the end of the solution, the stream gets to like a second per frame.
Oof.
Yeah, slideshow territory.
Yeah. Impressive, though. This is... And, yeah. This is a very biggie solve.
So yeah, I had a 24 at method, and then a 22 that stopped using method, and then a 21, and then a 20. And the 22, 21, and 20 were all named Biggie Punk. This is Biggie Punk Extreme.
You came up with this about pretty much last hour, yeah?
Yeah, what I did last hour was replace 2 arms that were doing what ARM 5 did with ARM 5.
Uh-huh. And yeah, that should be all for the for this week, apart from Showcase, which we will show in a bit. Well, actually, we can show now because there's no new puzzle reveal. We are done with revealing puzzles. No more puzzles to reveal.
The end of the tournament is coming.
But we do
I'm
have
so
Showcase.
excited for week 9.
Oh yeah, Brookie actually has a week 9 off.
Yep.
First off, though, we have Showcase by Mr. Puzzle.
Ew.
So, what is this one, by the way?
Swish and flick. It's I wanted to do a no drop solution after I made this one, but then I was like, no drops is really hard, so let's do almost no drops. So it's a ton of wanding. I like how the copper output's made.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the only
wanding.
drop is the drop on the iron, right?
Right. The drop on the iron put and 2 drops the less quicksilver they're holding.
I'll find Deuce's scores first, please. Oh, don't worry, there's only 2 showcases.
I was the only person to do showcases.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
I spent like 30 hours on TI, so I didn't have showcase time.
I win every single super secret metric number 3. Heck yeah.
Yeah, we have overlap gold area right now. Which we can probably sort of speed through.
Oh, overlap gold area is an interesting metric. I do have to say, I think overlap area gold is also really interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, that's his solve. Is it 10 seconds of frame on stream now?
It got smooth again, but there was a long delay.
Oh.
It's kind of going in and out for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, rendering my solution caused yours to struggle.
No, the recording's
Vicky,
fine. The local recording should be fine.
Bandwidth.
So,
Is
if
this
you want
the power of the Biggie Punk?
Oof. So yeah, it's the recording should be on. The local recording should be fine, so you can always just check on the YouTube later if you missed something. Oh. Why did that screen just turn off? Huh. That was weird. Oh well, I'll just roll with it since the stream is almost ending. Actually, I need a... My second screen just turned off for some reason. Let me just grab this over. That'll work. Yeah, I'll just... That'll have to work for now. But yeah, next up is a score reveal. So let me actually compile the results first. And actually open that in the OBS. Let's see, Opus Tools, CSV, combine, .py, standings, Control A, Control C, open Chrome.
So I think I got more points than Pentapic this week, but only barely.
Yeah, because of cycles.
Yeah, I lost 7 placements on him in cycles, but I got the metric score on TI.
Alright, there you go. Should be in. Let's... Did you game? No, you did not. You did not gain points on Pentapic, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, more than a point behind on my bad and less than a point ahead on my good.
Yeah, but Finder did improve a lot, though.
find her into the top 5, passing. Oh wow! I didn't realize Goodbye Galaxy had fallen so far.
From 8th to 5th. Also, oof on Goodbye Galaxy.
There are some quite dark colors on the week 8 TI. I definitely am that jerk who set the curve.
Yeah. Yeah. Week 8 is basically just like week 9 last year, I guess.
And week 4 TI this year as well.
Week 4 TI not as much. Well, probably because there was more people, but there's less dark colors there. But yeah, that should be all for this week for this week's stream in general, actually. But yeah, I'm gonna show the transmutation CX puzzle again. So this is week 9's puzzle. If you didn't know, week 9 is available, and it's a computation puzzle where you have to use rule 10 on the inputs and outputs.
It's still the spreadsheet on stream, I think.
Oh, right. I forget to switch scenes.
Implement Rule 110, this time in Opus Magnum instead of Space Chem.
Yep. So yeah, this is the puzzle, and there has been an update to the puzzle since last time I showed it on stream. So there are 6 extra test cases now, which... No, the wrong zoom. Which are these ones right here, where you have to turn this input into this output, 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 and this input into this output, all with one machine. These are the 6 that will be strictly tested, and all the other ones will be will be tested using FANUC calculator. It says I'm in like very low kilobits per second. That kind of sucks. I guess the stream is very laggy right now.
There's not much activity happening, so not really.
Yeah, but like the audio and all.
The audio's been fine. Wait, actually, no, I've been listening. Never mind.
Yeah, no one in commentary can actually weigh in on the audio.
Yeah.
Hopefully the recording's gonna be good. Is the first output wrong? Wait. Did I?
Yeah, there's a salt that should be... Like, if it's 3 fire in a row, it should be fire, fire, salt, fire in the output.
Why is there an extra... Hopefully that's not on the website.
I get a white square, so I'm just trusting the white square. If you're going to make me solve it this way, that's just not compatible with white square.
Let me check the website. No, the website is fine. I don't know why they changed here.
Yeah, there's also another verification tool that Not Great in Discord put together, which does verify some collision stuff. So
yeah. So yeah, that's week 9, and that should be all for this today's stream. So thank you all for coming, and we'll see you all next time. Next week, because there's no stream this weekend, because week 9 is extended as well. But yeah,
11 days from now.
So yeah, thank you for coming, and see you all next time.
See you then.
Thank you for the stream. See ya.
Yep.
yeah, take care.